Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto banished to My Little Pony. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by SWEETMISS2121 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. The Prince of Storms Chapter 1. The storm has come. Panterlit Castle Throne Room. The female winged creature was silently looking outside the windows of the silent empty room with an air of apprehension on her normally composed face, subtle trickles of sweat slowly falling from her forehead while thousands of scenarios played in her mind at blinding speed. She was known as Celestia, and she was now about to see what the two most daring gambles she had took 1,000 years before will translate into. One was about exiling her beloved sister that had got corrupted years before and turned her into an evil entity renamed herself Nightmare Moon that Celestia had banished on the very moon of her world, and another, more twisted in hindsight, and that was now showing more downsides than Celestia herself could have imagined, even in her darkest moments. And both are about to blow up on my face, she muttered with a sigh of defeat. In exactly a week the moon, stars and pretty much the whole universe will seemingly help Nightmare Moon in her escape from her confinement, and even if Celestia had slowly, and painfully as well since it went against everything she herself stood for, moved things, so to have the reincarnations of the only thing able to truly help her sister to meet and purify her. The fact that the second victim of her 1,000-years-long countermeasures was also finally showing its restlessness was drawing the alicorn spare and worry. I am not even sure the elements of harmony will work on him. He is not driven by darkness, his rage will probably being justified by my literally tearing him away from what he thought was his home, his friends and family, even giving him back part of the memories those people erased had been source of further anger instead of peace. It's a wonder the barrier held for the entirety of those 3 months, Celestia muttered while looking towards one of the sealed chambers of the palace. The place where only her could enter. What she could not know was that the prisoner inside the light-colored sphere of energy had not been trapped for 3 months, but had instead followed the suggestion of the secondary entity inside his body and used part of the memories Celestia had given him to understand how his new body worked. Slowly, painfully recovering the control over his power that he used to have before getting forcefully took away. She had tried to give him memories of his youth and enough info about language and basic workings about his body and possible magic in hope that he could use that as a starting point to then learn the rest by himself. She couldn't imagine that a second mind could block those info, dissect them, and keep only the fundamental parts like the notion about using the newly formed horn on his forehead instead of his now hoof-shaped hands to fight. Your Majesty. The special ship you asked for is ready, an armor-covered Pegasus said after entering the room. But tell the soldiers to vacate the area around us as instructed while flying at the accorded distance. I want only the bare minimum crew on board. The less people are around the treasure the better I will feel, Celestia answered nodding. Anything dangerous? We can take that to Ponyville ourselves while you fly secure on a ship, no need to risk your life, Princess, the guard offered with a worried tone. Thank you for your offer, but it's my responsibility. I would have preferred leaving everything sealed in the vault, but I don't feel at ease being too far away from such a dangerous thing, the princess answered. Sorry the boldness, your highness, but wouldn't be better just destroying it if it is so dangerous? I am afraid that even if by far the most destructive thing I had ever seen, I can't simply destroy a thing that I fear is also near impossible, even should I wish to, Celestia answered sighing. I understand, sorry for my words, princess, the guard said with a low bow. You are just worried, I won't hold it against you. Now go, we still have a lot to prepare, Celestia said with a gentle smile. Roger. The guard answered before disappearing from the room. Sigh. It's time to face the music and the repercussions of my choices, the princess said before steeling herself and moving towards the imprisoned Pegasus. The next day Ponyville Library. Oh my gosh. It's already time. We are not ready yet. There is still the catering to organize. The decorations are still getting adjusted and a young purple unicorn rambled in shock at seeing Celestia enter the room she was in. Twilight, calm down. I am here because I need a special brand of favor, one that I could not put on parchment and send you, something I had took care of personally, but now requires further help, and I am forced to ask you as I can actually trust only you for this, the princess answered. Everything. Whatever you need. Twilight Sparkle, personal student of the alicorn princess, answered immediately while standing to attention. It's a serious matter that requires maximum secrecy, follow me, Celestia said before both disappeared in a flash of light. The two soon appeared in an empty room only containing the glowing sphere of energy holding inside Celestia's most foolish mistake, second only to her own sister's banishment. What is that, princess? The young girl asked. I call it treasure as it is, in its purest form and at its origins, what was at his birth, Celestia answered sighing. Some pony is in there. Twilight asked curious. I'll tell you an old story, a sad one. Over 1,000 years ago there was a mother. The most pure, gentle of the mares, a beauty as pale as the moonlight and as gentle as the breeze of a night of summer. One day she fell in love with one of the guards that had swore to protect her with his own life, and even if their relationship was not frowned upon, the two still wanted to keep everything a secret, maybe as a sort of game, or maybe in fear that some pony would have something against them. Celestia said. Then? What happened? The young unicorn asked. From their union a young Pegasus was made. Even as a colt he was as brave as his father, but as gentle as his mother, truly the fusion of both parents' best qualities. But then corruption took the mother, forcing a great power to separate the parents from the frilly. The young stallion had been once again returned to a state of infancy and cast away, so far that even the mother could not reach him, and twisted into a new shape so that he could not be summoned or even recognized, and apparently with even the few memories his young mind had of his life here, erased by the same people that swore to keep him safe in a world of anger. Or in constant tension he grew strong, stronger than anything we had ever seen, and I have called him back and imprisoned him in that sphere. Celestia answered. But why? Twilight asked confused. He needed to return. I hoped he could help me resolving an ancient problem of our world, but I had not realized that I would have basically kidnapped. It's Ponynap, sorry, the unicorn corrected her automatically before blushing. Excuses are not necessary as he had been turned into an human, they used the term kidnap in that case. And as I said, I didn't realize that I was taking him away from what he believed being his life to take him here. He had been rightfully furious, especially when I made another mistake in showing that he had basically lived a lie that lasted 20 years from his point of view. The alicorn said. Human? Like those creatures from legends? Twilight asked. They are real, but legends never described them as a belligerent race that unfortunately had never felt the power of harmony and friendship like we did and still do, or at least those he had lived with acted as such. The ones that raised him were by far the most powerful kind, and even if in that human body he had no access to his normal Pegasus powers, he had rose to the top to become the strongest, towering over everyone in strength, and yet never losing that same gentleness and pure heart he had as a filly, Celestia answered. So he returned into being a Pegasus once you called him back? Exactly, I hoped that recovering his memories would have helped, but I was wrong. I need you to keep this fear in check, should something happen that would stop me from mounting guard on him. He is a young stallion as apparently the world I took him from had time working differently, that explains why after 1,000 years he is barely a young adult older than you. Can you do this, Twilight? Can you help me mounting guard and keep the secret? Not a single pony can know about him until I'll be sure he won't get revenge on every being that crosses path, Celestia asked. No, pleaded her student. Be everything. You can count on me, princess. The young unicorn answered nodding. Good, I personally sealed this room and the ship as a whole, only me and you will be able to enter, well the others won't even register its existence. Now show me how things are progressing, I am actually curious about how this summer sun celebration will be like, the princess said with more calm smile. Right away. Please follow me, your highness, Twilight said while the two moved outside the room, sealing the entrance with a series of heavy metallic noises. Did you hear that? Someone spun some bullshit around so to appear crystal clean and smelling of roses, the prisoner thought with a sneer. Just wait until we will be sure you won't trip on your feet, hooves, whatever, then we will burst out and have the bitch learn what happens when you fuck up with people's lives. A second voice, this one deep and inhuman, echoed in the stallion's head. With pleasure. How long before I can return to my top form? He asked. If we are lucky, just a week. Here natural energy is even thicker than back home, but there is not even the slightest spark of chakra in those creatures, as I could not feel any. A little bit more patience, and you will be able to do even the most complex technique with this horn of yours alone, the voice answered. Good, the sage mode and frog katas will be a little bit more difficult to adapt, but I never lacked imagination. I can't wait. The Pegasus answered smirking. Well said, Naruto, well said. We have a week to finish adapting the Rasengan and its variants to being horn generated along the remaining techniques we know, but the bitch luckily had the brilliant idea of giving us the basics of how to do their magic. Useless crap if you ask me, we will show them what real power is once out of here, Kurama, nine-tailed Biju, answered with a similar feral grin. A week later, Pavilion. Our dear beloved subjects, it has been so long since we have seen thou precious little sun-loving faces. A female alicorn with the skin as dark as the moonless night said with a purring voice. As the cries of the ones present grew in volume with their calling for Celestia to show up in the deepest recesses of the lonely airship, hidden not too far away by layers upon layers of illusions, the sphere of light holding the Sun Princess's prisoner started sparking an energy. It's a solid barrier, that much I will admit, but still, just an annoyance, Naruto muttered as he closed his eyes to focus. Some negative emotions made their presence known. The sad thing is that by their standards, whoever is here now must feel like a monster, but to us. I would barely classify it as angry kitten, and that with me being generous, this guy has nothing to Orochimaru Madara. Kurama said snickering. But still, I can't feel that Celestia's presence as clearly as I did before, she must be pretty far away, the other answered. No chakra, but they have such an overabundance of spiritual energy that we can still sense them through the sage mode. The fact that natural energy here is more abundant also helps, just like following something underwater by tracking the ripples it leaves behind, the Biju said. All the better for me, I want to kick that woman's ass for what she did, then go back to Konoha, resurrect Sarutobi Jiji and my father, and beat them into a paste. They should have told me. Naruto said while yelling the last part and actually making cracks appear on his prison. Calm down, we have a bad guy here to defeat, so use the bastard as a chew toy to burn out some steam, then we'll have all the time to have that horn horse pay for what she did. Kurama answered. Then let's break out and fight, I am tired to stay immobile like this, I need some action. The blonde said eagerly. Then summon the truth-seeking balls and eat through this light show, it's starting to hurt my eyes, the Biju said. You really like those, don't you? I'll never understand why, they are boring. Oh, shut up. We have an op ability and I pretend to see it used. Okay, let me put on the right dress then, we are going to crush a party and we have to look our best. Naruto answered laughing as he opened his now yellow eyes while his body started transforming. Meanwhile. You sure you want to come with me? Twilight asked while watching royal guards getting through round by the powerful bolt of lightning launched by Nightmare Moon. You said that, girl. Those elements or whatever can stop her, that's not something one can do alone. A cyan Pegasus with rainbow-colored mane answered nodding. Ash is right. If you have a way to stop that crazy horse then I'll help as well. A pony with a cowgirl had added. Fools. No one will stop us. Our night shall last. For whatever Nightmare Moon was about to say failed when both back legs of a mysterious Pegasus struck her face. Time itself seemed to briefly come to an halt as the helmet around the alicorn's head slowly deformed under the power of the attack while air rippled behind the mare, then, as if a spring had been released, the dark alicorn went shot away as a blur. Demolishing several houses and leaving behind a trail of destruction as she was sent flying all the way out of the small town and kicking up a cloud of dust of immense proportions. Damn. I guess I overdid a little, the strange figure said with a sheepish grin. He was a tall, imposing stallion with 3 strange markings on each cheek, wearing a strange bandana with a leaf engraved on it. His body was seemingly made of golden fire, forming a light-colored coat on his back and a dark-colored bodysuit underneath that covered his torso, reaching down to his front legs up to the hooves and then down to his back legs. This time stopping just above his hooves but also changing their color so to look like those two were made of the same fire-like energy of the cloak. The stranger was also sporting a light-colored circle on his abdomen, as well as golden markings around his collar. On the back of the coat there was a strange marking of an eye. Unknown to them, that was indeed the symbol of the 6 paths in Jutsu. A Rinnegan above 9 Magatama. Who are you? Twilight asked in surprise before she looked behind him and from where he came, thing that had her paling considerably once understood who he was. Name's Naruto. Nice to meet ya. The stallion answered while still looking at the deep gash Nightmare Moon left on the road with her tumbling. Why you are the prisoner? Why you are out? The purple unicorn asked. You okay, Twilight? Who is he? One of the other girls with her asked. Celestia was holding him sealed away in the hope of helping him reintegrate with Equestria after certain circumstances, but now he is out. Why now? She answered. Sensed some bad intentions and decided to help. Where is that woman that trapped me? The flaming stallion asked. Oh. I know that. She had been sent on the sun by that big dark meanie. The pink mare of the group answered with a cheerful voice. So she is dead? Naruto asked. No, she is certainly alive as her magic is attuned to the sun, Twilight answered. I see. How did we bring her back? I want to be the one kicking her ass, and I. Blank, the shy Pegasus muttered. What? If you had to be that rude, can you at least not curse? If it is not a problem, she replied while looking down. Not my style, if an ass it is, an ass I am going to call it, Naruto answered, making Dash snort at his serious expression. We need the elements of harmony to stop her and me and the others were about to go retrieve them, Twilight said. Ah. Want me to keep her occupied then? He asked. Why would you help us? Because contrary to what Celestia thinks, I am actually one of the good guys, I just don't like being forced to leave behind my friends and home, because apparently I was never told that I came from here, Naruto answered. I am sorry, Twilight said meekly. Were you the one that called me here? He asked. Well, no. She answered. Then why you apologies? I know who I am angry with, so I won't go around attacking random people, the stallion answered. Okay. We are wasting time. Can you hold her until we return? Rainbow Dash asked. Boy. I am a girl. she hissed angrily. Sorry girl, I am completely different from whatever you have seen up until now, give me some credit, he said smirking. Thou are indeed different, Nightmare Moon growled as she reappeared above the group to show her bruised face twisted into a furious snarl. Took you long enough, princess. Did I give you boo-boo? Naruto asked amused. You insolent fool. Beggin'. She answered while amassing storm clouds around herself and launching several bolts of lightning at him. Go take those elements. I'll buy you as much time as I can. He answered while disappearing in a burst of light and incredibly dodging each and every lightning bolt before headbutting the alicorn with enough strength to send both through several houses and making the terrain tremble from the impact. That was fast. Dash said with wide eyes before getting dragged away with the others. You are the most annoying, insufferable, miserable brute we ever had the misfortune to meet. Nightmare Moon hissed as her horn glowed white hot in power from her rage alone. Thank you, I like to leave a good impression. It's a pity that I will only keep you occupied while the others bring here those elements or whatever, but at least I will make some exercise while we wait, I have been sealed for way too long for my tastes, Naruto answered chuckling. And you think you will be able to stop us? And with what kind of army? The alicorn asked smirking. Look, I'll tell you in terms that you will understand I am a one-stallion army. Naruto answered. You fool, have you any idea how many times we saw young Pegasus and unicorns call themselves like that? It has lost its meaning nowadays, she said laughing. Wanna bet? To think we were going to take you. Aiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Massive shadow clone technique, Naruto yelled as his horn flared up even more before thousands of clones of himself, all sporting the same flaming cloak, appeared around him. Seriously, Nightmare Moon squeaked as the horde of clones plus original rained on her from every possible direction. Sigh. We are starting to think that this was not an idea as good as we thought. She muttered sadly. Everfree Forest with Twilight and the others. The small group was running, or in dash case flying, as fast as they could towards the abandoned castle, the purple unicorn said the elements had been hidden in. We are almost there. Keep running. Twilight yelled. You think that he will really be able to distract her long enough? Rarity asked worried. From what I can tell you about it, Celestia called here a Pegasus that had been banished just like Nightmare Moon. The problem is that the place he had sent to was a world drowning in wars that turned him into an hardened warrior. He had apparently lost any memory about Equestria, and so now he may resent us for basically ponynapping him away from his home. He somehow gained friends in that violent place, and so he rightfully doesn't like this situation. But the princess was hoping to have him understand that his place is here and that he will be able to find new friends. Unfortunately, he got free before he could calm down enough to have us explain everything calmly, and now I don't know what to do. She answered as faraway echoes of explosions were still reaching them no matter how deep in the woods they were moving. The fact that he's helping us instead of that crazy mare is a good start though. Applejack answered. You heard him, he is an hero. Of course he will help us. Pinkie Pie added smiling. I only know that Celestia defined him the most destructive entity ever seen and that she needed him for something. Maybe she hoped to use him against Nightmare Moon in case of emergency, or at least as a way to buy her, or in this case us, time to use the elements of harmony, Twilight answered as a dense mist was slowly rising around them and rapidly getting always thicker. You silly fools. As if some pony could really stop us. Nightmare Moon's voice resounded around the small group, although an edge of exhaustion managed to slip through her tone. By how you talk it seems that he still managed to take a toll on you, Dash said with a challenging tone. Insolent. It was by mere luck that he managed to catch us by surprise. The disembodied voice replied angrily. You sure? As far as I remember it was you the one to turn into mist and run towards here, a male voice said in amusement. You? Nightmare Moon roared. And who else? The flaming stallion said from a tree branch. How did you find me? In this state I can sense your presence. You may not have chakra like me, but you all have such a ridiculous reserves of spiritual energy that you people call magic that I could still track you down. Satisfied. Naruto answered as part of the mist condensed back into the alicorn, showing how her body was covered in bruises while standing on shaking legs. You still need to defeat us. And as for now you still lack in power, you weakling. The alicorn spat furious before cringing at the glare she received in answer. I usually don't like to overdo, but I hate when people underestimate me, so for the next 3 minutes, only I will show you the next step of my abilities, because remember, if I didn't use my full power up until now, it was only because I don't want you dead. Get ready. He answered with narrowed eyes. Is that so? Thou think you can scare us with some bold claim? Show us then. Nightmare Moon answered. Really? Naruto asked taken aback from her answer. Poi. It's her funeral after all, show her my avatar form, I bet they never saw anything like that here. Kurama said with a feral smirk. Sigh. I hate when the bad guys go all I can take everything you can dish out, it makes me feel bad to then beat them to dust, the flaming stallion said, before his body seemingly exploded into a towering pillar of energy that then rapidly took the massive shape of Kurama's body along the 9 tails and rings around the eyes to accompany the skeleton-like lines on the rest of the body. The unicorns, Pegasus, Earth Pony and one alicorn present could only watch as the avatar of energy kept growing in size until it completely dwarfed the whole forest and the surrounding area before roaring with unmatched anger at a millimeter of Nightmare Moon's face. And while the girls were surprised by reflex at seeing that happen, the corrupted alicorn princess was showing all the signs of being extremely worried as her eyes were bulging wide open while the irises and pupils had visibly shrunken to the point of looking almost absent. What they didn't know though was that Nightmare Moon was also screaming inwardly as for some reason her voice kind of refused to come out of her open mouth. Are you satisfied, little horsey? My companion here may like to play nice, but I didn't. Kurama said using the avatar's mouth before one of his huge paws grabbed the still shocked alicorn to throw her back to Ponyville like a shrieking bullet and with enough strength to have her leave behind a sonic boom out of the sheer speed her body reached. Sorry for Kurama's antics, he is usually more calm. Go fetch those elements, if she wants me and him to get serious, then she has to hope you will find them fast. My techniques are not made to be gentle, Naruto added before the huge 9-tailed fox made of energy sprinted towards the corrupted princess with a new deafening war cry. Okay, Twilight answered with a weak voice while ignoring Dash trying to revive the fainted Rarity and Fluttershy behind her. That's one hay of a talent, Sugar Cube, but what talent is that? Applejack asked while trailing in awe the amount of destruction the huge Biju avatar left behind just by moving. I honestly don't know, but let's move fast, because I fear there won't be enough Nightmare Moon for us to use the elements on otherwise, Twilight answered before the still shaking group renowned their efforts towards the elements of harmony. With Naruto. Is this more of your liking, princess? If I were you, I would stay still and wait for those pretty girls to help you with those elements, the stallion said from his place inside Kurama's spectral head. What are you? How can you do such things? Why did my sister left such an equine creature like you anywhere near Equestria? Nightmare Moon asked while still keeping distance from the enormous creature. No matter what she did it didn't seem possible to stop or deter, he could break illusions faster than how she could cast them, any spell she used was either dodged or countered by his clones or the spiraling spheres of energy he could summon on the tip of his horn that if he didn't outright let it struck him and then get up as if nothing happened and the huge body of energy he was piloting was apparently totally impervious to anything she threw at it through telekinesis, no matter how big. Believe it or not, I originally came from here before she sent me away, where I ended I had Kurama here sealed inside me, that had me gaining the ability to use and wield chakra, the energy everyone there had in their bodies. From there I just grew up becoming the strongest ever before she stupidly thought that I would have gladly left behind everything I had gained after breaking my back on a daily basis and risking my life to fight crazy bastards with dreams about world domination once bought here. I even fought against a veritable goddess and came out victorious. And now look at me. I am here fighting a tantrum-throwing flying horse that could not accept the fact that someone would sleep during the night. So do me a favor and drop whatever you are doing that is keeping Celestia on the sun so she can come here and send me back. The other answered. Never. I will be the only ruler of Equestria ever if it kills me. Nightmare Moon said while flying as high as she could above the stallion, deciding to focus all her power in a single attack and uncaring that it would probably cause Celestia to break free without a great deal of her magic, holding the other alicorn exiled. She is trying something, can you feel it? Kurama asked. Yep, her last try. Should we show her that she really needs to stay put? Naruto asked back. I guess we really have to, just angle it a little higher, we don't need to kill her, the Biju answered nodding. Take this and disappear, you monster. Nightmare Moon yelled at the top of her lungs as a thick bolt of pure condensed darkness went shot from her horn towards Naruto. Sore loser bitch Gumarass and Shuriken. Naruto said while converting a truth-seeking ball into a tailed beast ball hovering on the tip of his horn and adding wind-natured chakra to create 4 shuriken-like blades around it before hurling it at the alicorn. The two attacks met briefly before the former shinobi's jutsu simply cut through Nightmare's attack, erasing it from existence, shocking the corrupted princess to the core that had only the time to summon a quick shield around herself before the jutsu flew above her. The resulting explosion completely engulfed her body, shooting her to the ground at breakneck speed and leaving her smoking, heavily bruised body in the middle of a huge crater, her armor almost completely gone and her back showing the most bruises and probably still holding wings, only thanks to the armor she was wearing and that got atomized. You okay? Naruto asked after dropping the chakra avatar and nearing her with a short trot. Stay away. The exhausted and surprisingly scared Nightmare Moon shrieked while scampering away from the flaming stallion until her back was pressed against a wall. I angled it so it would not have touched you, as I said my intention was about buying time for the others, not killing you," he answered with a sad smile. "WWY. If you hate Celestia you should have just left me do what I wanted. She would have suffered 1,000 years on the sun for her sins," she answered while leaning even closer to the wall at seeing him walk near her. "You needed to be helped, since those elements calm save you then I decided to help. I would have hoped to do so without getting violent, but you were not hearing reasons," Naruto answered. "We are here. We have the elements," Twilight yelled as she and the others reached the duo. "It was not easy. That mare had left behind illusions and angry monsters to stop us," Dash said in annoyance. "Those poor animals were also forced to attack us," Fluttershy added. "When did you do that?" Naruto asked curious. "During our strategic retreat," Nightmare Moon answered. "You work fast, that's for sure," the flaming stallion said surprised. "Thank you," she answered while a bit surprised by the sudden colloquial tone the monstrous Pegasus in front of her had started using. "Can we use the elements, dear? I think Ponyville suffered enough from her attack," Rarity asked with a raised eyebrow while pointing with an hoof at the destruction surrounding the group. Most of that is my fault I fear, my jutsu are kind of destructive, but I will help repair everything once done," a blushing Naruto said while stepping to the side. "You better hope Ma farm is still intact or I'll buck you as hard as I buck Ma trees," Applejack said with narrowed eyes. "My attack shouldn't have touched it, I swear," the other replied while rising both hooves. "What are you gonna do?" Nightmare Moon asked with narrowed eyes. "Use the elements of harmony on you and purify whatever had corrupted you," Twilight answered. "And he will stop attacking us?" she asked while stealing glances at the flaming Naruto near her. "Yes," the purple unicorn answered uncertain. "Then yes, please do so. This is our best side," Nightmare Moon answered with an happy smile while presenting her left cheek. "I feel kind of offended," Naruto muttered pouting as a rainbow-colored ray of light engulfed the corrupted princess. "That must be the most feminine-looking attack I had ever seen, I swear I felt my manliness drop a few points just by looking at it," Kurama muttered while shaking his head. "Kurama, please. This is hardly the moment for jokes. We still need to find a way to return home," Naruto thought sighing. Once the blinding light died down a new alicorn stood in place of Nightmare Moon, showing that the corruption had twisted more than just the princess's mind. She was now a tall indigo-colored pony with bright aqua eyes and large feathered wings on either side of her, black patches could be seen her hind legs under the white crescent moon marking on her flank. She was now wearing dull blue horseshoes, if that was the name of the thing. Naruto mused, and a bib-like piece of black cloth around her neck adorned by the same crescent moon insignia. Her mane was long, flowing even in Wind's absence, and sparkling just like if the stars in the sky were tangled in there. "Well, that's a nice change, sorry for hurting you. But in my defense you were not yourself," Naruto offered with an apologetic tone. "We would have preferred being saved in a less painful manner, yes, but we do appreciate the gesture all the same. We are Luna, Moon Princess and sister of Celestia, and you all, Element Bearers and Warrior of Light, have our deepest gratitude," Luna answered while painfully bowing to the two groups. "Oh my gosh. A real princess thanked us," Pinky said with a wide smile. "So those rocks are the elements. They don't look threatening," the flaming stallion said uncertain. "Actually, those are just the former husks of the elements, their true power now reside in the young ponies you have in front of you," a new voice said as Celestia finally reappeared in the middle of the group. "Celestia," Luna said with a meek voice. "It's all okay, sister. I am happy to see you return to your senses," the Sun Princess said while hugging her sister with happy tears streaming down her cheeks. "I helped resolving your problem with your sister, now send me back," Naruto demanded with narrowed eyes. "I am sorry, but this is not possible," Celestia had the time to say before the stallion reappeared in front of her with a withering glare on his face. "What?" he bellowed with enough force to kick up dust and crack the terrain behind the princess. "The cough. The spell I used to turn you into an human and then back into a Pegasus can be used only once, even if I send you back you would still remain in your current and true body," the princess answered after managing to bite down the high-pitched tone her voice momentarily took in surprise. "Why it can be used only once? And why then you called me back?" the stallion asked. "It was an experimental ritual created by Starswirl. He theorized that with enough power an equestrian could be changed into another shape, but also added that any form different by something of our world could have put enough strain on the subject to kill them. I took a gamble into turning you into an human, since they are creatures completely different from us in mind, body and spirit. It was by turning you into an alicorn and then sacrificing that particular transformation. Using the resulting backlash of power to do it, but your body had to be turned into that of an human infant, so to minimize the danger of killing you by using a smaller shape," Celestia answered. "And you can't do that again?" I survived the extraction of my biju, a thing that usually kills the victim, and even his reintroduction in my seal. I am certain I will survive some magic trick of a long-horned, self-centered horse just like you." He hissed back. "Listen, I am asking you to give Equestria a try. Your life should have been here. It was by fear of Luna's corruption influencing you as well that I acted so recklessly, but I was desperate at the time and could not find another solution," the Sun Princess answered with a pleading tone. "And Konoha. And my friends. The life I had fought so hard to have. I finally got them to acknowledge my existence, you egoistical bitch." Naruto yelled in fury. "Hey. Don't you dare," Twilight was about to say before freezing at the intense furious glare she got from the stallion. "What?" he muttered with a throaty growl. "Sigh. Listen, I know it's hard to accept, but this is your home, your world. Give us a chance and in exchange I will find a way for you to contact your friends back in that world, like that you won't leave them behind completely," Celestia offered. "Why not giving me a way to go back?" he asked again, this time with eyes filled by pain and loss, actually hurting the princess more than his rage had before. "You would return as a Pegasus, I can't return you to an human body, it's too dangerous," she answered, shaking her head. To the other's shock, he just dropped down, crying silently and covering his head with his hooves. "Boy, you still have me, come on, brat. Say something," Kurama said in apprehension. "It's all okay, they are your friends, they will understand and don't abandon you, you will still communicate with each other, is still something." Fluttershy said while nearing him and dropping down to be at eye level with him, her motherly side kicking in at seeing his despaired expression. "I have lost everything. Why? What do you want from me? Didn't I do enough? Can't I have a little peace to enjoy my life? To have a girl, a family," he muttered angrily. "Who is he, sister? Why did we pawn him from his home?" "You heard him, he had managed to get himself friends and probably a nice life," Luna asked confused. "Because I wanted to reunite a mother with her son no matter what, and in my blind ignorance I did just that, uncaring of the damages I would have done to him, but in my defense, I never thought that he would have managed to have friends in such a violent place. I am sorry," Celestia said while helping Naruto to stand and even hugging him. "I had a mother back in Konoha and a father, a man that I now wish to strangle with my hands or hooves or whatever," he answered. "I am not putting this into discussion, but give your mother here a chance as well, she has every right as well as the woman that adopted you," Celestia answered as she stopped hugging him. "And who is his mother?" Luna asked. "Well, you, sister," the Sun Princess said with a shy tone. "Me, her?" Both Naruto and Luna yelled at the same time while pointing at each other. "Luna, he is the son you and Fierce Storm had 1,000 years ago, Maelstrom Knight, or just Maelstrom, since his father always defined that name as a mouthful to say," Celestia said uncertain. Surprisingly, Naruto can be translated as Maelstrom in our language, so he had not exactly changed his name, she then added with a nervous laugh. A tense silence fell in the group as the shocked stallion dropped the sage mode to show a rust-colored fur with a yellow, and still spiky, mane. The mark on his flank was of 9 foxtails, meeting with their white tip to form a spiral with a wide center. "I even had his clothes resized by the best fashion designers of Canterlot, since he seemed to like those and the bandana," Celestia said, trying to fill the awkward silence while pointing at the red with black flames jacket and the top half of the stallion's old orange and black jumpsuit he was wearing under it. He even had the pendant he won from Tsunade still around his neck. "Princess Luna. Are you feeling well?" Twilight asked to the wide-eyed alicorn that was fixating Naruto with unblinking eyes, not that the shell-shocked stallion was sporting a different expression. "Oh. I think I know that expression." Kurama muttered in horror at seeing Luna's face split into a wide grin. "Maelstrom." The princess squealed as she pounced on Naruto to hug the life out of him while nuzzling her cheek on his and chanting his name in pure happiness, wounds completely forgotten. "Okay, what the fuck is happening here?" the stallion finally asked as he recovered his voice. The Prince of Storms Chapter 2. Shinobi vs Alicorn. Canterlot Castle Throne Room 3 days after the battle against Nightmare Moon. Celestia was suffering from the third headache of the week, all thanks to her sister Luna that wouldn't stop gushing on and on about how much of a stud her son was or how much proud of him she was for growing that strong. Not even the bandages covering most her body or the limp in her steps was deterring her from praising how well Maelstrom Knight had fought her when she was Nightmare Moon. Ooh-oh. And that flaming mane of energy. Did I mention how studly and dashing he was while protecting Ponyville? Because he was. Luna asked with a wide smile. Yes, you did. 5 times already. Celestia yelled as even her legendary self-control couldn't take it anymore. Something wrong, sister? The Moon Princess asked. Luna, dear sister, I understand that you think the world of your son, no matter how badly he had injured you in that fight. He was just trying to save his mommy, nothing worthy of an headache as those are only minor bruises, Luna said unconcerned. The fact that she could so calmly ignore wounds that would have had any other seasoned pony, soldier or alicorn alike, fall over and scream in utter agony, just because her son had been the cause of them, had been already registered as a medical miracle worth of study. At a side Celestia growled. I would be more worried about the fact that he has still to speak a word ever since we took him back here, that, and the fact that he refuses to eat in favor to just meditate, and I fear he is planning something to escape, the Sun Princess then said. Why would he? I am here now and can be his mother once again, we will be able to fly together, I will be able to teach him how to one day take my place with the rising of the moon. Why would he leave now that we are back into being a family? Luna asked back dumbfounded. Luna, this was said with as much calmness and as slowly as Celestia could. Yes. We took him away from the life he believed was his own, from his friends, from a girl he apparently wished to date. She was a peasant. Not worthy of him. Luna said with a grimace. Listen to what I say. Celestia roared while opening her wings wide for added effect. And what do you want to say? Let's hear. Luna yelled back. He will try his darn best to run away and return to that world, pony or not, Pegasus or not, nothing, and no pony will stop him. He will try to go there no matter what we say or do, and you can be certain that should we decide to force the issue, he will do everything in his power to make sure we will regret that choice, and you saw him first hoof. He can be devastating when he wants to, and if we show ourselves as being the only thing stopping him from returning home, he will unleash all his power on us, and unless we both banish him on the moon, I fear he will give us one of our greatest battles, that if even the moon banishment will be able to stop him, as I fear that very few things can, Celestia said while looking inside Luna's eyes with her hardest stare. Ooh, but I am his mother. Why would he leave me? We can be a family now. The other asked with horrified eyes, royal tone forgotten as it was a too serious matter for her to remember the lesson she and her sister took in their younger days. He doesn't remember your being his mother, as he told us time and time again, to him his mother had always been named Kashina, even showing him once again your memories of the few years you, Storm and him, had been able to spend together had been useless, he refused everything, and answered with the memories he has of Konoha and the people he met in there. The son Alicorn answered with a sad tone. But why? Why did they erase his memories? Just to give to that human a son when she couldn't have one of her own? Luna demanded with watering eyes. In hindsight, they did the right thing, had he remembered being a pony he would have had problems adjusting to his human body, but you can see the results. Even by restarting as a blank slate, his experiences in there, his friends, his every action ever since he appeared in that world as an infant, had shaped him into a kind soul. The few memories of his adoptive parents and other parental figures in his life like that Uraya and Hiruzen, had taught him the value of hard work. Of compassion and camaraderie. They showed him how to fight for what's right and to help the more weak and protect the innocence. They didn't just give him to some random human, they made sure he could develop into a respectable human, and they did. You can't deny that even if now he has an human mind inside the body of a winged unicorn, he is no different from any other pony of Equestria. Celestia answered. But he doesn't see me as his mother. Luna screamed strongly enough to have the windows rattle and scare her sister. He doesn't look at me with eyes filled with the love a filly should have. He doesn't come to me to get comforted whenever sad, he doesn't acknowledge the bond we share ever since I delivered him to this world. He doesn't even call me mother with conviction or love. She then said. And that is one of my many regrets, sister, moving you two aside is showing more downsides than what I wish to believe possible, Celestia muttered in answer with her head lowered down. Then why you didn't send him with me on the moon? Why? I had already lost the stallion I loved in the war against the Griffins, why you had to take my son away as well? The Moon Princess asked with a broken voice. I feared that should he have come with you your own corruption would have slowly affected him as well, I couldn't even keep him here, by the time of your return time itself would have killed him, and had he become an alicorn then his own grief for losing, you would have had him go nightmare, just to force me to free you, I had no other choice than send him elsewhere where time flowed differently, so that by the time of your return not long would have passed for him. Like that you two would have been able to stay together. I didn't expect all this to turn into a huge mess, the Sun Princess answered. Then maybe you should have sent him with me, at least like that even in the cold pits of corruption we would have stayed together, and he would have called me mother with all the affection and attachment he now denies me, Luna answered sobbing. Sister, stop speaking nonsense and let's try again, he is letting himself dying, while trying to return to a place that will never again accept him, they are humans, and he is an unicorn, exception made for his friends, no pony else will accept him there for what he is, we need to help him understand this before it is too late, and he see his former world turn its back to him, Celestia said pleadingly. I won't let them do that. I will make their moon crash on their pitiful world should they hurt him. The other said with as much rage she could fit in her voice. Now calm down, he is probably in the gardens, so it's there we will find him. Okay, I can do this, Luna answered nodding. You need to rest, Celestia said. No, I need my son to recognize me. Nothing else matters. She answered. Gardens few minutes later. Silently making their way to the gardens of the castle, the two princesses decided to stay hidden in the shadows and silently observe the blonde stallion sitting with closed eyes in the middle of the grass, sometimes muttering something under his breath and nodding. What is he saying? Luna asked whispering. It's the language of the world I had sent him to, he is muttering about being almost there, he is planning something. Celestia said before going wide-eyed. Maelstrom. The moon princess immediately yelled while showing herself to the shocked unicorn. I am sorry. I can't stay here, I just can't. Naruto replied with haunted eyes that horrified the alicorn. But why? Why you want to leave me? Luna asked in despair. My place is not here. What am I supposed to do? I am a shinobi, a ninja. My whole life was about protecting Konoha and my friends, I dreamed to become Hokage and be able to protect my precious people. I want to go home. He answered while shaking his head. But you are at home. Here. With me. Luna replied while slowly walking closer to him. I am not one for royalty, I am by any means a mercenary, I will never be able to find myself at ease with being a noble, the blonde stallion answered. I can always talk the royal guards into testing if you could be a good soldier, it would be similar to what you did in Konoha, protect the innocents and your precious friends, just here instead of in Konoha. Celestia offered. You would be perfect for that. You have your own brand of training, there wouldn't even be questions about they accepting you because you are my son, since every pony would see what you are capable of. Luna added with an eager nod, already imagining having the armor-clad stallion as part of her personal guards, so to have him as close as possible. I am sorry, I just can't. The shinobi replied by biting one of his front legs as strongly as he could to draw blood before smearing it on his hooves. What are you doing? Luna screamed with wide eyes. I am going home, I have found a way Kuchi's no jutsu. Summoning technique, he said as from the point where he slammed his hooves, a complex circle of strange markings appeared soon followed by a huge cloud of smoke. This chakra signature Naruto. A booming voice yelled in a mixture of surprise and relief. Amabunta. I am so happy to see that my plan worked. I'll explain later, but now I need you to take me to Mount Myaboku. Naruto said with a relieved smile as a huge creature appeared in front of him and that he soon climbed until staying on its nose. Amabunta was a dull rusty red-colored huge toad with around his eyes and on his lips and chest brighter red markings and a scar over his left eye. On his tongue he had a series of stud-like piercings on both the upper and lower side. He was wearing a large blue happy vest with the kanji for Ibi on the back and carries a massive blade at his hip. What the hell happened? You are an horse. With wings. The summon said in shock, almost dropping the large pipe he was smoking from. It's complicated, now just do as I asked and take me to the mount, I'll explain everything once there. The stallion pleaded, his tone alone convincing the toad boss to comply with the request. Stop. Luna screamed in horror as her own power circled around Gamabunta's feet to stop him. Guards. Celestia yelled before adding her own magic into stopping the toad boss. In an instant several armored Pegasus and unicorns surrounded the princesses while keeping distance from the summon. Hey. That tickles, what are you trying to do? Gamabunta asked amused. You won't take him away. Luna roared in fury. The creature is trying to take away Prince Maelstrom, please help us. Celestia pleaded. Roger. The dozen of guards yelled at the same time as their own horns flared to life while the flying components of the squads rapidly circled the toad boss. So you are the bastards that kidnapped him. And you even turned him into one of you guys, you are in deep shit, just so you know. Gamabunta growled with narrowed eyes, whatever he said rapidly translated by Celestia so that the others could understand and vice versa. You fool. We will never leave the son of one of our beloved princesses get ponynapped without fighting. Soldier. Have everyone focus restraining spells on the toad, the prince must get out unscathed. One of the soldiers, a captain at the head of the Pegasus unit said. Roger, sir. The other replied immediately. Please Maelstrom. Please don't leave me, I can't lose you too. Luna pleaded. I am sorry, give me some oil, Gamabunta. Naruto answered with a sad sigh while his horn lightened up and he opened his mouth wide. I'll take you home even if it kills me, boy. Trust me. The toad boss said as his belly inflated to huge proportions. Scatter. Celestia yelled with wide eyes as soon as she saw fire mounting in Naruto's mouth. Collaboration jutsu. Gameyu Enden. Toad oil flame bullet, both stallion and toad yelled at the same time, the summon spitting out a veritable river of oil and the other using the short blast of sparks he had spat out to turn it into a wide wave of fire. Shields up. One of the guards yelled as immediately every pony present able to wield magic, aided by the two princesses, collaborated into rising a strong enough barrier to stop the fire from roasting them and damaging gardens and castle. But once smoke and flames disappeared, there was no trace of either summoner. "He is gone," Celestia said with wide eyes. "Maelstrom no," Luna muttered before collapsing from the shock. "Luna." The Sun Princess screamed in horror while trying to reanimate the fainted alicorn. Mount Maiboku isolated area. In a powerful explosion of smoke, Gamabunta reappeared in the sacred mountain of the Toad summoning clan, the current boss scanning the area until he nodded satisfied. "No one's near, you can come out," he said. I am here. I am home," Naruto said with a smile, towing the broken and actually scaring Gamabunta. "Yes you are. Listen, I have a small errand that needs my attention. I won't tell anyone you called me, nor that you are here. No one usually comes here, so you'll have some peace. Just wait for me and we will talk a little, okay?" the summon said with his most calm smile. "But you'll be back soon, right?" he asked in worry. "Of course I will, Gaki. Who the hell do you think you are talking with? I still consider you a friend," Gamabunta answered smirking. "Thank you," the stallion said. "Now relax and enjoy being home, I'll be back soon," the summon said before calmly jumping away. "Okay," Naruto answered before drifting asleep under a huge leaf with a serene smile on his face. Not far away. "Hops. What happened? You got summoned all of a sudden. A new guy signed our contract?" another massive toad asked curious. "No, it was Naruto. I managed to take him here," the boss answered. "What? He is here. You saved him, Hops." Gamakichi, the son of the toad boss, said with a wide smile. "Wait. There is a problem, he is not okay and needs our help," Gamabunta said while barely grabbing his son in time. "Problem? What problem? What happened to him?" the younger toad asked immediately. "Have someone fetched Tsunade Kakashi too, we need people he can trust, he is not okay and needs our help," the toad boss said. "Them? Here. Trust me, we need them here, I am not good in this kind of situations." "Well you take those two, I'll go looking for Ma and Pa as well," Gamabunta answered with a worried tone. "I'll go right away," Gamakichi said, nodding before moving towards the elder toad, so to have him emergency summoned in the elemental countries. Meanwhile, Canterlot. "We have found traces of the ritual," one of the unicorns tasked with the studying of the area said in relief. "Can you reverse engineer it?" Celestia asked. "We are trying to re-establish the connection, but we need time," the unicorn answered looking down. "Do it, we need to call him back. How is Luna?" the Sun Alicorn said. "She is still crying, princess, but at least she is more calm," Twilight Sparkle answered. "I don't understand why he's doing this," Applejack said while shaking her head. "I studied the ritual of Star Swirl. Princess Celestia turned him into a full-fledged human, mind comprised, and the humans in that world had the right idea in erasing his memories to nothing, since otherwise he would have had problems recognizing his new body as his own, but when she called him back here, she had left his mind as it was, prompting his brain to finally register that he has no longer an human body. During his fight with Nightmare Moon, he had been only focused on stopping her and talk to Celestia, but as soon as things calmed down his ignored issues came back. Now he is just scared," the purple unicorn answered. "Scared?" Rainbow Dash said with furrowed brows. "He can't recognize himself, he has started having doubts about his staying here in Equestria, and he now fears rejection from his old friends, he probably believes that he has nowhere to go and nobody to talk to that he can trust. He is desperate and so he is not thinking rationally," Twilight explained. "That creature he summoned must be one of his friends, hearing him promise help and a place to stay in his old world was more than enough to have Maelstrom latch into it and go away," Celestia added in realization. "Darn, that sounds bad," a young purple dragon said with raised eyebrows. "I fear that it may become even worse than that," Spicarin, the Sun Princess answered. "We will help him, we just need to have him understand that he is not alone nor unwanted," Fluttershy replied. "What if we use the elements of harmony?" Rarity asked. "I don't know if they would work in this case, the darkness that is clinging to his heart is of his own creation, but it still has to corrupt him completely, so I am not certain," Celestia answered. "Can we help in some way, Princess?" Twilight asked. "That is in fact the reason why I called you all here, me and Luna are going to use the same method Maelstrom used to reach him, but we'll need the element of magic along the other elements to back up our magic, so to send us and then call us back as soon as we have found him. Can you help us?" the princess answered. "We'll do our best, princess. And if our boy keep acting like that, I will personally drag him here by that horn of his," Applejack answered. "He is just scared, Applejack. I will help as well," Fluttershy added. "I still have to throw him a welcome new friend party, of course I will help that silly stallion," Pinkie Pie said smiling wide. "A friend?" Luna asked while joining the scene with her eyes still red from her recent crying fit. "Of course. Everyone needs friends, so why not him as well?" the pink pony answered. He helped us by keeping you occupied while we recovered the elements, it's only fair that we return the favor by snapping him out of his self-pity, Rarity said. You can count on us, Princess Luna. We'll help you bring the prince back. Twilight added. Thank you. Thank you. Everything you want is yours, just help me recover my son. Luna answered with a grateful smile. Just take him back, it's all we ask. He is one of us and I think he can be a nice pony once softened him enough, he only needs to enjoy life more. Dash answered. We have a thread. It's a weak link, but we should be able to enlarge it into a portal thanks to the elements, but we have to be cautious, it's a one-time deal, any mistake, and we won't have a second chance. But we can now start working on it at least. The unicorn said. Good. Let's go help them, sister. We have your wayward son to recover, Celestia said. Okay, I am gonna ground him for 1,000 years once we are done. Luna answered. That's the spirit. Mount Myaboku some time later. Tsunade was rapidly marching through the path towards the disappeared Naruto with a deep scowl on her face. She was aware that having her and Kakashi enter in that realm without first signing the Toad summoning contract was unheard of, but what she did understand was the magnitude of the problem being great enough to bend the rules enough for this to happen. You don't actually believe that thing about him being an horse, right? Kakashi, back in his Jounin robes, asked. I saw a light engulf my godson to drag him away and a shape of something scarily resembling a winged horse grab him. As for now my suspension of disbelief is on strike, so I am open to every possibility, I just want him back. The woman answered. Good. I thought I was the only one, let's go. The masked Shinoi answered as both quickened their pace. Why dressing like the time you were his genin team sensei? She asked. For the same reason you are wearing your green coat, as Gamabunta said he is under shock, so he needs something familiar to latch onto, so to stay calm, I even have a copy of Icha Icha with me, the other answered. You always have a copy of that with you, Tsunade said smirking. Yes, but this is the same issue I was reading when I gave my bell test to Team 7. Good thinking. SSSSH. Be quiet. Gamakichi whispered with a glare before slightly lifting a leaf to show Naruto calmly talking with the two Tads Ma and Pa. Well, exception made for the horn, I find you well, Naruto boy. Pa said with a cheerful tone. Always said that you were strong as an horse for someone your age, turns out I was right. Ah. Ma added smirking. That's not funny, I look like something out of a toy store, Naruto replied pouting. But I guess you would have a great success with girls like that, Pa answered chuckling. Please, Pa. Don't talk like Hiro Sennin. As if a girl would not run away screaming once seeing that I am a talking horse, the blonde stallion answered shaking his head. I find you cute instead, Naruto Tsunade said as she and Kakashi slowly walked out of their hiding spot. BB Bachin. The other yelled with wide eyes. Yo, Naruto. Decided to change look without telling me? I thought that you would have gone for the orange though, was it taken? Kakashi said with an eye smile while internally cringing at the fear he could read in his former student's eyes. I am not, the stallion stammered while slowly backing away, he was also looking around for possible escape routes. It's okay, I am here now. I am not afraid, disgusted or angry. I just want to talk, Tsunade offered with a calm voice and raised hands. You shouldn't have known about this. I asked only this to Gamabunta. He said before spinning in place to run away. Bring your sorry ass here, brat, before I turn you into a paste. Sensing the danger of losing him, the woman changed tactic and used the same tone of when the blonde shinobi in front of her used to joke once too many about her real age. That stopped Naruto mid-run, it was something he recognized, something he knew was normal, and was something Tsunade could use to convince him that everything was fine, that nothing between them had changed. Come here, let's talk a little, Kakashi offered while sitting on the ground and patting the spot next to him. Oh okay, Naruto muttered while slowly, almost painfully on his part, he walked near his old sensei to sit next to him and flinching when the silver-haired man patted him on the head. See? Was it as hard as mastering the Rasengan? I don't think so, the masked shinobi said while flipping open his book to read, or at least pretend to. Okay, Naruto. Me and Kakashi can help you, but you need to tell me the whole story, the others too are beside themselves in worry, even Sasuke is twitchy and wants to know what happened to you. Of course he tried to play it cool, but we know he is just as worried as the others if not more, Tsunade said while sitting at the stallion's other side. He snorted at the part about Sasuke, that was a good sign in both shinobi's book. The Nohamain gate the next day. He is close, I can sense him. Luna said as soon as the portal opened above the village. Let's be calm though, we risk having them attack us if we act recklessly, Celestia answered. I think they already know that we are here, the Moon Alicorn said, while pointing with an hoofed and human riding and huge dog that had sprinted away as soon as he had spotted them. Naturally born warriors, trained ever since their birth. Of course their senses are sharp. The Sun Princess said as an human wearing an hood used a black cloud of bugs to point in an isolated location before signaling them to follow. We are getting closer, Maelstrom must have told them about us and were expecting our arrival, Luna said with narrowed eyes. Following the hooded human, the two alicorn princes could see more and more humans joining the run by jumping from a rooftop to the other, idly surprising the two sisters with the speed and elegance that could do that with his friends. Celestia muttered as a pale-skinned boy flew near them thanks to an ink-made bird. So many, Luna whispered in wonder as a red-haired human joined them up in the sky by running up a demonic-looking arm made of sand and angling it so to jog at their other side. Neither human sparing even a glance at the alicorn sisters. Soon the group reached a small clearing surrounded by trees. In its middle they could see Naruto sitting on the ground while talking with a pink-haired female human, a pale-eyed female human and a male with raven-colored hair. As soon as the two princesses touched ground, the near shadows sprang to life, latching to theirs and incredibly climbing their body until a claw of shadows grabbed their neck. At the same time, a boy with chubby cheeks grew to huge proportions and stepped between them and the stallion, while another with a bowl haircut removed several iron bars from his arms and legs, each one of the little objects creating craters as he threw them away. As the two sisters tried to understand what happened, they could feel a strange presence settle in the back of their minds, coming from a blonde human girl glaring at both, the pale-eyed girl and a second younger one moving in front of Naruto with the veins around their eyes bulging out. Page main completed, Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said from his kneeling position. Ready to squash them if I need to. Choji said nodding. Yosh. Ready to defend our friend, I won't hold back. Rock Lee added. I am ready, if they try anything I will shut down their brain. Ino said. You may not have chakra, but we can still disable your muscles, right Hanabi? Hinata said. Right, One-sama. The younger Hyuga replied. HN. So you find funny kidnapping people and turning them into an horse? Well, I don't instead. Sasuke said as he summoned the towering form of his Susanoo. You want him? Then you'll have to step on my corpse. Sakura said while punching the ground strong enough to seemingly shock the whole village. Congratulations, you just made yourself an enemy of both Konoha and Suna along Spring, Wave, Kumo and several other minor villages. I hope you are proud of yourself, Gaara said with a cold voice as he and his siblings prepared their respective weapons. The dude is our friend, like hell I am gonna let some pastel-colored horse take him away. Kiba said with Akamaru near him growling at the two alicorns. I suggest you to not try anything funny, why? Because we won't be kind in our answer, Shino added with a nod. All of you don't care about his being a winged unicorn? Luna asked in disbelief while momentarily wondering if the spell Celestia used to teach her the language was filing and translating properly. What can I say, I always wanted to meet an unicorn and now I can. Thanks to you. Ino said smirking. He is kind of cute now, didn't like how he looked before, it's an improvement, Hanabi said with a shrug while ignoring Hinata's glare. Yosh. I don't care what form he takes, he still is our greatest knucklehead friend and we will help him if he needs us. Lee said with a nice guy pose and pinching teeth. Okay, I didn't need to see that, Celestia muttered shivering. But he is my son. I just want him back home. Luna answered with a sad tone. Then you should have firstly approached him to explain the situation instead of forcing him into this, just kidnapping him to turn him into one of us was just as wrong as you could get, Gaara answered with narrowed eyes. It is my fault, I wanted my sister back and was ready to use any means necessary to reach that goal. She is innocent, Celestia admitted. Yeah, we know that. We are savages, brutes and all that crap, so you thought he would have been happy to go back and yada, Kankiru said mockingly. Can you blame me? You people don't know the power of harmony or friendship. The Sun Princess said. I beg to differ, had that be true, all of us wouldn't be here ready to destroy you just to defend the dope behind me, Sasuke answered. Hoi. Don't you dare call my son like that. Luna yelled enraged. It's an affectionate nickname by now, calm your feathers before I use you to refill my pillow, the Uchiha boy replied sneering. Since when that's a nickname? I always mean it when I call you a bastard, Naruto said. Correction, take him away, I already regret him being back, Sasuke said. Love you too, the stallion said sarcastically. He seems happy, Celestia muttered. I don't care. I have already lost his father, I can't lose him too. The Moon Princess yelled before shocking the others and breaking free long enough to pounce on Naruto and hug him, burying her face on his shoulder to openly cry while hugging him. Stand back, now. Sakura ordered while overcharging her fists in chakra until they shone in a flaming aura of energy. No. Please, no. Don't take him away from me, please, the alicorn pleaded while clinging to her son harder and harder, shamelessly sobbing and hiccuping while shaking her head. Bachan? Naruto asked with a worried voice, unable to think about a solution. Step down, we'll try to resolve this specifically, Kakashi said. Thank you, Celestia answered. Don't, we are doing this for him, not you. Tsunade said while marching towards Naruto to sit near him. I don't want to leave you, the blonde stallion muttered. And you won't, the woman replied smiling. But. Please don't take him away, I just want an occasion to have him back with me, Luna said. My mother is Kushina, Naruto muttered. They discovered your being not human once dead, but they didn't care, they loved you all the same and were actually grateful for the occasion of raising you as their own, Tsunade answered. How? During that mass revival of dead, Minato had met Kakashi and thanked him for training you and keeping an eye on his son, that's how he defined you, his son, to him being inhuman or being an unicorn or whatever was not important, he had decided by himself to take you in and never regretted it, the woman answered. Minato-sensei told me that he was sorry for your mother, well Luna-san here, but also that he thanked the heavens that gave him an occasion to be a father, even if because of Obito's dark moment that had not lasted long, he never regretted a single moment. And if he said that, you can be damn sure that Kushina too had been happy to call you son and is proud of you even now, Kakashi added. What now, then? Naruto asked. I fear that outside us not everyone will be as understanding about your being a unicorn, Tsunade said. But. Let me finish, brat. The woman bellowed. Sorry, Bachan, he muttered. But if I missed you calling me like that, what I meant is, well not everyone will understand, the ones in here plus few others are not bothered by it, she said. Well I can't find it bothering being defeated by a pony is an hard hit to my pride, Kiba said with a barely restrained smirk. If you put it like that I am not feeling good myself at the idea of having lost to an horse, Sasuke added. Ignoring the two idiots that I will beat within an inch of their lives once we have done, I want you to remember each and every one of us whenever you feel sad in what was that place called? Tsunade said. Equestria, Celestia offered. That. What? Everyone yelled. Listen, it's clear that some people may try to capture Naruto to try and use him or study him, bastards like Orochimaru are always around, so I think we can let him live with Luna-san here, but. The former Hokage said while rising in hand to stop the flood of screams from the others. Let me finish. While he stays in there he will ride us every day, twice a day, and will be able to come back here via summons at least once a week to spend some time with us. And I think we may feel free to ask for his help in case of emergency, where we need our overpowered friend, she said. I am not overpowered, Naruto said, pouting, making Luna smile at his expression. Oh, you are ridiculously overpowered, I think people change the meaning of op after you pass by, Sasuke said. So I'll be what, exactly? The stallion asked. Well, you want it to be important. Then congratulations. You are the official ambassador of Konoha to Ekiku, Kakashi said. Equestria. Celestia said, sighing. That place, the masked shinobi said with an eye smile that made the Sun Princess grumble in annoyance. Same goes for Suna, if we are lucky we will be able to exchange some of our ores with those people in exchange of some rare wealth, Gaara said, nodding. Well I think it may be done, Celestia said in surprise. So I'll stay with them? Naruto asked. You're staying with both, brat. You now have two homes, one in Konoha Suna and one with those ponies. I think it is a good way to make everyone happy, Tsunade answered. Not even by living in a different planet, there is no way of getting rid of you, I guess we are stuck with you, Hanabi said, smirking. That is not a nice thing to say, and I was about to have a romantic story with him. Why can't I have an happy ending with him? One where I would hug him, then he would hug me back and then take off his pants, and Hinata answered before moving through a long rant the others soon cut off from their ears. Thank you, Luna kept repeating with an happy smile. But remember, Tsunade said before surprising everyone by grabbing the alicorn's horn to twist her face around so to better glare at her with enough strength to have lesser being reach spontaneous combustion. 2 letters a day, every day, no matter if in order to fill them he has to tell me what he had for breakfast, I want to know he is okay. And we all know how he acts, thinks and speak, and will check every little comma of every letter, at the very first signal that you are brainwashing him or worse, I will personally reach your world and force you two to watch as I personally burn it to the ground. Am I clear? She said, roaring. Yes. Luna and Celestia squeaked while nodding rapidly. Oh. And don't forget, I want him free to come pay us a visit whenever he can, once a week would be perfect, thank you. Tsunade then said, switching back to her most gentle smile before letting the princess go to return with the others. She is scary, Luna muttered. You have no idea, Naruto said, nodding. Hoi. I don't know them, but I want a way to have you still in my life, the woman said. Okay, Bachan. Okay. We got it. Naruto said. Good. Would you really come back home? With me? Luna asked with wide eyes. I guess I will. Can I still consider Minato and Kushina my parents as well? You can't ask me to forget them, he answered. And what about me? The Moon Princess asked. A step at a time. Is still something, sister. Celestia said. "Oh okay, let's go home," Luna said, nodding. "See to right, idiot. You know she will go apocalyptic otherwise," Sakura said with a small smile. "I will. See you around." The blonde stallion had the time to say before light engulfed him to take the three-winged horses away. Equestria Castle. Maelstrom's room that night. Bucking apples with Applejack, helping Rarity with her dresses, helped Twilight with cataloging her books, helped Fluttershy with her animals, and being Dash partner during her flying training along helping Pinkie Pie in her family shop. Why did I tell them that I would have done everything they asked to excuse the troubles I put them into? The stallion asked to the room. For two reasons, one is because you are too gentle for your own good, and the other, because only an idiot would give such an opening to a woman, let alone six, Kurama answered chuckling. Thanks, that makes me feel oh so better. Maelstrom answered groaning. But the knowledge that he still had a small link to the elemental countries and that his friends still wanted to be his friends had lifted a weight from his chest he knew had been crushing him. That same night he found himself in an empty void back into being a blonde human, near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. "Luna?" Naruto asked. "TCH. As if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boy's dreams to bane." Kushina answered with a superior smirk. "What now?" Naruto asked. "We talk a little and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries," Minato answered. "It may take long," Naruto said, snorting. "Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams," Kushina answered. "Yeah," Minato added. Not far away, Luna slowly tiptoed out of Maelstrom's dream. Seeing those two spirits settle things themselves was enough for her. If they were there, then she didn't need to intervene and help her son. She thought she could trust at least those humans enough to see how things will evolve. This time. The next day. The Moon Princess decided to join Maelstrom and Celestia at least for breakfast before going to bed and have her rest after her nightly routine, her mind already wondering how to have her son gain a good enough rhythm so to either join her or Celestia once joined the guards, but with a stamina like his, that was something not as hard as it normally would have been. The first thing Maelstrom said to her though blew away every thought she had and threatened to have her heart explode in happiness. "Good morning, mother," the stallion had said with a gentle smile and shining eyes. "That's a good start," Celestia muttered with a small laugh at watching Luna pounce on her son to smother him silly. "This doesn't mean I forgive you, you flying donkey. You could have told me everything instead of forcing me to accept this," Maelstrom said while glaring at Celestia through Luna's feathered wings that were hugging him as well. "Well, that is a less good start, Horsefeathers," the son Alicorn said with a defeated sigh, grimacing at hearing her sister start a new round of gushing about her wonderful son. Extra scene: Naruto's dream alternative version. That same night he found himself in an empty void back into being a blonde human, near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. "Luna?" Naruto asked. "TCH. As if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boy's dreams to bane," Kushina answered with a superior smirk. "What now?" Naruto asked. "We'll talk a little and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries. It may take long," Naruto said, snorting. "Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams," she answered. "Hey, where is Dad?" the blonde shinobi asked. "He is talking with those two sisters, he will join us soon." Meanwhile, Luna and Celestia's dream. "You ruined my swoon," Minato screamed in fury while chasing the two alicorns. "It's not my fault. It was all Celestia's doing," Luna replied while dodging the new wave of kunes he was throwing them. "Where is your sisterly camaraderie? And you can manipulate dreams, do something," Celestia answered. "He is not a dream but an enraged spirit and you saw him, he simply smashes down everything I put up against him," the other replied with a shriek as a Rasen shuriken flew above her head. "He was the manliest of the manly men just like me. And you turned him into something out of a kid's show. D.E. Minato roared as he prepared new weapons and jutsu to use against the two. "Me Earsy," both sisters yelled at the same time. "Denied. Now let me catch you. I got a craving for a steak of horse meat," the former fourth Hokage answered with an hungry expression while taking out a knife and a fork. Aye. Needless to say, both princesses won't find a lot of rest that night. The Prince of Storms Chapter 3. Just bucking around. Twilight Castle Gardens. Celestia and Luna were waiting at the entrance of the castle for their guests to arrive, the Moon Princess actually scanning the sky in annoyance at being kept waiting. "Back in the days when you were given an appointment you used to get there exactly at the accorded time, or at least 5 minutes earlier," she said, huffing. "Luna, please don't start giving out those old mare sayings like back in the days or when I was younger. Things changed a little in the last 1,000 years, social etiquette has become a little more free, but being 10 minutes late doesn't mean that they are savages," the other answered, chuckling. "I remember you that I was kind of indisposed during that time instead, but I won't abandon my good manners just for this reason." And why I can't hear you speak anymore with the old Canterlot speech booming voice? Celestia asked. Maelstrom kept flinching at every word, once asked why he said that I was turning whoever I met deaf with that just like his father, if he has to say something he does that without sugar-coating it, the princess answered sighing. But he does, the Sun Princess answered bitterly. You're just angry because he doesn't call you auntie like he used to, but look at the bright side. Luna said smiling. Which is? Now I am his favorite instead of you, like in the past where you had stole the C-No. Well, that's my bright side at least. The other answered. TCH. We are deeply sorry, Your Highness. We had some last-minute troubles to adjust the roster, so to have me and few others come here as requested, a Pegasus said as he and two others flew down in front of the princesses. I hope this had not caused too much trouble, General Drell, Celestia said with an apologetic tone. Not at all, Your Highness. I was actually curious to personally see how the wayward prince fights. Voices about his exploit in Ponyville had reached even us, but as you can imagine they got twisted into works of fantasy, like his being made of fire or summoning huge animals of energy. Ah. The imagination of young fillies, the general, Nasty Drell, said with an amused chuckle. Actually, Celestia muttered while looking down and ignoring Luna near her preening in pride. Really? An unicorn that had joined the scene with his two companions asked with a raised eyebrow. Princess Luna, Princess Celestia. This is Captain Shining Armor, with him two unicorns that will also test the prince's abilities. Since he had not been trained the conventional way, we will need a wider spectrum of tests to determine if he is really good enough to become a guard, after giving him the right pointers about how our own job works, of course, Nasty Drill said. As Twilight knows you are here? Celestia asked. Sent her a letter myself, Princess, she asked me to pay attention and don't get hurt. Shining Armor answered bowing. Good. As I explained to your general, my nephew had been trained in what are known in the elemental countries as ninja arts, and while I personally deemed the details behind his disappearance too personal to disclose, he is open to explain what his abilities are and how they do work should we ask him. As for the voices about his fight against my sister, Prince Maelstrom calls that flaming form Sage Mode, and it is another kind of magic only found where he had been sent to. The Sun Princess answered. Well, now I am curious to get a shot at that as well, but I guess one has to expect this sort of things from the son of Princess Luna, and an alicorn at least, the general answered sighing. He was in unicorn when I called him back here in Equestria, he kind of turned into one once the spell was done, Celestia answered. The body had to catch up with the spirit, Celestia. Luna answered. Sister, I am warning you. The son alicorn muttered. I know, tune down your gushing or you'll end spoiling him. She answered. Good, just remember that it is for his own good. Celestia said nodding. Although all that bad flankery you never got from our father did need to go somewhere, and a mere unicorn body would have never been able to contain it along the huge boost he got from his father, and well, me too for that matter. The Moon Princess muttered. Luna. Celestia roared in anger. They sure act differently outside from official meetings, I am surprised. One of the Pegasus muttered in flinching when the general turned to look at him. They are still ponies, soldier. That's why we love them, because they are still like us no matter the power at their disposal, they are our benevolent princesses, and yet they try to not make us feel inferior by acting high and mighty in every occasion, Nasty Drill answered. Yes, General. I won't forget that. The soldier answered. But this doesn't mean that I won't pick off every hair of your flanks, should you people act like fools. They may have the freedom to act like that, but you have not such privileges, you will be proper, respectful soldiers, and follow protocol to the letter, or I'll have your cutie marks nailed on my fireplace, understood? The general asked with narrowed eyes. Yes sir, there would be no problem sir, the group answered with rapid nods of their heads. Is everything alright? Celestia asked. Just giving my men some last minute details about how we will work, your highness. The general answered with his best smile. Perfect. My son is in the gardens as he was going through some warming exercises, so to be ready for your test when we left to greet you, and I expect you all to be even harsher than with normal soldiers. I won't accept favoritisms just because he is a prince, he himself won't like that, so please remember this and act accordingly, Luna answered. As you wish, your highness, Nasty Drill answered. Said that the small group marched towards the gardens of the castle, once there Nasty Drill and the others were welcomed by the image of the long coat wearing alicorn fighting against 1,000 copies of himself, while few others were either meditating in a corner or balancing miniaturized Rasengan on the tip of their horns. What the hey is happening here, the general said with wide eyes. Page Bunch and Shadow Clone Technique, one of his spells able to create physical copies of himself, whatever a clone experience gets transferred to the original upon dispelling. Wonderful for infiltration, information gathering, and it cuts down training time by a great margin, depending on how many clones can be summoned. He is actually one of the few able to use that particular ability to its full potential, even among the ones that firstly created the technique, thanks to his reserves. Luna explained. A one stallion army, I finally get to see one in action, really interesting, Nasty Drell said with a calculative smirk. Learning multiple things at the same time and in a tenth of the time. Twilight must not know about this. Shining Armor muttered while shivering in fear. Meanwhile, Ponyville Library. Twilight Sparkle was calmly dusting some ancient tomes when her back went rigid. You okay, Twilight? Spike asked, worried. My bookworm sense is tingling. The answer to my prayers has finally appeared somewhere. I must find it. She answered while looking outside with narrowed eyes. Back to Canterlot. To their surprise and Luna's ultimate delight, Maelstrom had soon started smiling, always wider until taking in a huge breath before starting to sing. His first song. The Moon Alicorn muttered with a huge smile. Maelstrom singing, clone singing. Time to get stronger, yes indeed, that's for sure. A kick punch style remains very secure. Never pending, always the first to make a move. This time, we get down nice and smooth. The original said. Down nice and smooth, the 1,000 clones answered in the background. Thick, punch, duck, turn. The real Alicorn said. Thick, punch, duck, turn. The clones echoed. Because I'm still smooth, with a body oh so new. I wish everybody had the same point of view. Here's the former loser, out of Team 7. As he does his best and takes you to heaven. Maelstrom said while jumping over an attacking duo of clones. Getting stronger. Face to face. Getting stronger. Let's get it on. Getting stronger. You and me. Getting stronger. Until you move anymore. Original and clone sang as one. Look up in the sky. See the stars. Up there with them. That's where we are. The stallion said as with a smirk as he started building energy on his horn to form a Rasengan. That's where we are. And so it goes, yes, the final chapter. Liked or not, it doesn't matter. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. 24/7, each and every single day. This is how we do the ninja lesson. BAIN, your brand new prescription. Maelstrom said as he launched the small ball towards a group of clones, closing the song with a deafening roar of the jutsu's explosion. The short giggle he heard behind his back had the stallion look back and grow wide-eyed at the small audience he could see in there. Looking down in embarrassment, he dispelled his clones and half-heartedly accepted his mother's hug. Very smooth, nice rhythm as well. For your first heart song it wasn't bad. Luna said, smiling. But the urge to sing a little, is that normal? He asked. Sometimes, it happens when a certain event strikes deep down. You were happy at having the occasion to show every pony your abilities and get further training, so your heart answered with that little song, the Moon Alicorn answered. It's still strange, Maelstrom answered, sighing. You'll get used to it. You have a nice voice, so don't be afraid to use it. The other answered while nudging his head up with an hoof. Okay, mother. Good. That's the spirit. What kind of Pegasus would I be otherwise? The stallion said, smirking. It's Alicorn, my dear Alicorn, not Pegasus. Luna said, sighing. It is not the same thing. I am still a winged horse, he said, dumbfounded. Sigh. It is not the same thing. A Pegasus has wings, an unicorn has an horn, an earth pony has neither, and an Alicorn has both wings and horn. You are an Alicorn, pretty much the sum of the first 3 kinds of pony. Luna whispered. But it's confusing. Her son whispered back. Trust me, Maelstrom, it has been more confusing having you refer to yourself as winged unicorn or Pegasus up until now. She answered. You okay, Princess Luna? Prince Maelstrom? Nasty Drill asked, concerned. Just setting an issue that had been going on for a little too long, but nothing life-threatening, Luna answered, smiling. Good, if the prince is ready then I think we will be able to start, the general said. I am ready, General Drell. Maelstrom answered, nodding. Perfect. Shining. You, Stomper and Buster will be the first. We are gonna test him on stamina, speed and agility. Nasty, Drill said. Roger. The 3 unicorns said as one. Give your best, Maelstrom. They need to see the full extent of your abilities to decide, Celestia said. Okay, don't worry as I won't go easy on them. The blonde stallion answered. Shining. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Buster asked, whispering as the Alicorn charged the 3 of them with a look of glee on his face. Because Princess Celestia forgot to tell him to also pay attention because he is the Alicorn between the 4 of us. Iron Stomper replied, whimpering. Horsefeather's shining armor muttered, sighing. Rasengan. The stallion said while summoning the spiraling jutsu on the tip of his horn. Shields up. Shining yelled as he summoned a sphere of energy around himself and his 2 companions, with them adding their own magic to it to make the barrier stronger. Both spell and jutsu met in a shower of sparks until cracks started forming on the defense. NNNNNGH. Keep pushing. Shining groaned as he and the others tried pushing back. ITS, useless. Let's evade that thing before IT breaks through. That howling sound can't be anything good. Stomper yelled just in time for the Rasengan to blow a hole in the barrier, giving to Shining Armor and Wallbuster a first-row seat on the effects of the jutsu as it atomized the armor of the bulkier unicorn of the three and launched him back of several meters, screaming like a frightened little girl. "You're not supposed to kill them." Celestia yelled in shock. "The Rasengan can drill a hole in pretty much everything, but this time I didn't put enough energy for that, so he will be fine probably. I did pull it back before it touched skin though, so he should be fine in a couple of days." Maelstrom answered with a sheepish smile. "How are you, soldier?" Nasty Drill asked to the downed unicorn. "I can't feel my liver anymore." "Oh, wait. There it is." Iron Stomper answered with a broken voice from the hole in the wall he was in. "Keep going, you two. Let's see how good he is at dodging instead of attacking. I want him to be on the defensive," the general said. "Sounds easy to say," Shining muttered with narrowed eyes. "Don't worry, we still have the numbers on our side. We just need to flank him," Buster said smiling. "Page Bunshin no jutsu. Shadow clone technique," Maelstrom said summoning 3 copies of himself behind him. "Ah. Be of it or not, I kind of forgot about that," the slim unicorn muttered with a nervous laugh. "Just be quiet, Buster," Shining answered sighing in defeat. The next day Ponyville Twilight's library. The group of the Elements of Harmony's bearers were sitting around a small table on the back that had been submerged in books by the resident's egghead and that was pointing at several passages on each one of them while muttering to herself. "Okay, it's final. I can't find a thing on chakra here. I admit defeat. Unless I check Princess Celestia's personal library in Canterlot, I can only say that there is not a single book that talks about it," Twilight said with an exasperated voice while slamming closed the book in front of her in a cloud of dust. "Why you were looking for that, dear?" Rarity asked curious while itching a little away from the dust cloud her friend had just created. "I was the one that asked, actually," Dash answered. "Why?" "Because it sounds cool. He is a ninja, right? Like in Daring Do's book. Daring Do and the Emperor's Crown, so I wanted to know if our idea of ninja had some sort of similarities to Maelstrom's ones that had not been included in the books," the Pegasus answered shrugging and flying a little higher to look at the pile of books herself. "I don't think so, we were more flashy and less worried about sticking to the shadows compared to those in the stories. Nice ones though, gotta read the rest of the series when I get the occasion," a voice said from the ceiling. "Yep." Dash shrieked as she dropped down on the floor in surprise. "I hope you have cleaned your hooves," Twilight asked with narrowed eyes. I don't get your fluffy tail in a knot," Maelstrom said while snapping closed the book he was reading and slowly walking down from the ceiling and walls until he was standing a few feet from the main 6. "We heard that you had been tested by Thar Oil guards, how's it?" Applejack asked. "Pretty neat if I have to say. Shining San grumbled a little about my lack of self-restraint, but otherwise it went good and I managed to impress them. Next week I'll have to show how good I am at flying and then I will be able to join both day and night guards," he answered smirking. "Giving my brother a black eye and almost tearing away a Pegasus's wings, it's not lacking self-restraint, it's being violent," Twilight said with an huff while crossing her front legs. "Sorry, I just wanted to show them that I was not a pampered brat filly, but a warrior, and got carried away," he said sighing. "At least those soldiers are still fine, but what do you mean by joining both groups? Wouldn't it be tiring for you?" Fluttershy asked. "Both Mother and Celestia," he said with a snarl, "wanted me to join their group, so I said I would have followed both," Maelstrom answered shrugging. "And what about sleeping?" Pinkie Pie asked. "Oh. That's not a problem, we studied the rounds and found a way, I got stamina to spare and can do that, we saw no problem in at least trying for a while." "Why are you here by the way?" Twilight asked. "Because I have a debt towards you 6, I forced you to resolve a mess me myself gave birth to and I promised to help you in exchange, so here I am. Ready and at your service," the prince said smiling wide. "Oh. We were joking about that actually, but it's okay. So, who's first?" Rarity asked. "Well, since I am here already, Miss Twilight. I am your humble servant, so please use me until you reach satisfaction. My body and mind are yours to do as you please until I drop down exhausted. Although, I have stamina to spare, so don't worry, as I can go on for hours without stopping and something wrong," Maelstrom said bowing, stopping when once looked up he saw 6 red-faced mares look at him with wide eyes. "Sugar cube. That was kind of the worst choice of words possible," Applejack muttered. "Want us to leave you some privacy, Twilight?" Rarity said with a weak chuckle and making the librarian get even redder. "Oh, dear. Fluttershy muttered while unable to look the stallion in the eyes and fanning herself. Yep. That was kind of dirty, Dash added. What are you Ooh oh. It wasn't intentional, I swear. I just tried to sound all noble and the like. Maelstrom screamed as soon as he understood the involuntary double entendre in his words. It's okay, you can help me by cleaning and cataloging the books as I said, you girls helping. Twilight answered once calmed down. Sorry, dear. Got some orders that cannot wait, Rarity said shaking her head. Still got the help Big Mac at the barn, sorry. Applejack added. Gotta go, still have to help clean the sky of the Everfree, sorry Twi. Dash said as she disappeared in a burst of speed. I guess this will mean that it's only me, you and Spike. Maelstrom asked as Pinky 2 moved out after waving at the two. So it seems, you coming, Spike. Twilight answered. Of course. The small dragon said nodding. A pet dragon, that's awesome, the prince said smirking. Thank you, there weren't dragons in that place. She asked. In the elemental countries. Only in myths, but I would have loved to summon one, they are cool. He answered. Both shared a laugh at watching Spike puff out his tiny chest while striking a cool pose, failing miserably once tripped on his steps falling face first on the floor. I saw you use your powers to keep a book up to read, are you really taking lessons from Princess Luna? The purple unicorn asked while the two moved through the girl's checklist for each title. Pretty much. He answered nodding. How can someone pretty much take lessons? It doesn't make any sense. She asked taken aback. Well, I cheat a little in reality. Maelstrom answered. Cheat. Like this, Cage Bunchin. The stallion answered by creating a clone. Give him a book, a random one. Come on. I'll show you. Maelstrom said with an encouraging nod. And what about the real you? Twilight asked. I'll turn my back and then I will surprise you, he answered while giving his back to her. This one, the first few lines. She said while taking an ancient tome and opening it in a casual page in front of the clone. Done, boss. The clone said after a short pause of reading before getting dispelled. So? Twilight asked confused. It is said that adding energy to a reversely composed matrix will create a backlash no pony, with even a shard of interest for one's well-being should want to see happen, but I beg to differ, does it answer your question? Maelstrom said with a knowing smirk. That was Starswirl's opinion on warding. How? Twilight asked with wide eyes. Haha. A shadow clone can send back to its creator every information it has gathered once dispelled, may it be in a fight or from reading a book, I just create few hundreds to study what Luna asked me to, once done I dispel them and go through the practical side that I usually prefer. Never was a scholar kind of guy, I am more for an hands no hooves down kind of approach, the Alicorn prince answered. So if you wanted you could, Twilight asked with a calculative gaze. Create enough clones to memorize every book in this library? Maybe, but why would I want to do that? He answered shrugging. Twily. You okay? You are vibrating, Spike asked with a worried voice. The answer was a purple missile tackling Maelstrom and sending both rolling on the floor until the smaller unicorn was on top of the stallion with both front legs at each side of his head and her face at an inch of his. Please teach me? She asked with her cutest voice. You don't have chakra. I can't do that if you don't have that energy inside you, he answered uncertain. He didn't know, nor actually want to know, if she was using some kind of unicorn magic he was not aware of or if that it was an ability she personally had, but her eyes in that instant had practically doubled in size and gained a thin veil of moisture at their extremities. Even her lower lip was trembling a little. Please. Pretty please. She asked again. No chakra, no shadow clones. He repeated slowly. Sniff. Her sniffle echoed in the silent library as her unshed tears grew in quantity, making her eyes shine. Sigh. Damn it. Kurama growled from the seal while failing to look away. Sigh. Maybe I can temporarily give you enough chakra to try. It would mean that I would have to personally refill your reserves after each try, but if I got details right, Hagoromo gave chakra to people with a jutsu of his. And while I can't do that on a permanent basis, maybe I will be able to give you some for just enough time to summon a clone or two, but not more than that. Maelstrom said with a sigh of defeat. Yay. Thank you. Twilight said with a wide smile while hugging him, kissing his cheek in her blind happiness. Oh. She muttered once noticed. Let's pretend that never happened, okay? The stallion said in embarrassment. Yes, thank you, don't know what got over me. She answered nodding. Meanwhile, Canterlet. An horror-filled scream made the castle tremble as Luna entered the throne room to look at Celestia with bloodshot eyes. What happened, Luna? The Sun Alicorn asked worried. Where is Maelstrom? I had a nightmare and I need to be sure that he is safe and I was not having some sort of premonition, the Moon Princess answered. You are taking this mother thing too seriously, and I am surprised to say such a thing. He is safe and can defend himself, and even then, he is in Ponyville. Celestia answered. Ponyville? Why? He wanted to repay the element bearers for the trouble he had put them through during his crisis. He is probably already helping Twilight with her books, she answered. Oh okay. Wait. Luna said while letting out a long calming breath before her wings shot open rigid just like her eyes. Twilight? As in Twilight Sparkle? She asked. Yes. Celestia said unsure. As in, Twilight Sparkle the unicorn? Luna asked with narrowed eyes. Last time I checked she was one, yes, the other answered with an uncertain nod. Twilight Sparkle the female unicorn? The Moonalicorn said with a strange tone stressing the unicorn's X. Luna? You are not suggesting that something may happen between the two, right? Celestia asked, now very worried. What? Why would I? They are just two young ponies alone in a closed space where no one would enter and disturb them, because probably closed for cataloging with one being a studly stallion and the other a by now hormonal teen, probably curious about how mating works. Why should I be worried as if she would ever make a move on my innocent son and put her dirty hooves on him, so to kiss and then undress him, and Luna answered before she flew out of the window like a bullet of black bluish energy moving at light speed towards Ponyville. Oh for the love of Celestia said groaning before teleporting away. Halfway towards Ponyville few seconds later. Need to go faster. Need to save son's innocence. Need to stop dirty frolicking. And turn evil mare into ugly ornament and hide it in the everfree forest. The Moonalicorn muttered to herself while gaining even more speed. But an ethereal hand grabbed Luna to stop her long enough for Celestia to appear in front of her. A thick tense silence filled the area as every life form stood still, so to not interfere in the confrontation of the two powerful sisters. What are you doing, sister dear? Celestia asked while tapping one of her hooves on the cloud she was standing on. Oh, you know, just flying around. Luna answered with as much casualness she could fit in her voice. Flying around? Flying around? The Moon Princess replied nonplussed. Overreacting? The Sunalicorn asked. Overreacting? Are you? Celestia asked with narrowed eyes. No. Good, because that would be bad. The other said nodding. How bad? I'd have to put you back on the moon until you calm down. That's bad. Luna said surprised. Indeed. Listen, I was just planning to check on him a little, that's all. Nothing bad or sinister. Luna, he is not a filly, he is a young war veteran, no matter how wrong that sounds, so just let him go have some freedom. Celestia said sighing. Do I really have to? Luna said with a moan. He will soon become a night and day guard, once done you'll have at least a good excuse to keep him close to you all you like, can you at least wait until then? The Sun Princess said. Okay, the other muttered in defeat. Sigh. Okay. Fine. We will go give a peek, but just for a minute. And this is a one-time deal only for today. Let him have his space, you suffocating mare. Celestia said once saw her sister's downcast expression. I knew you would have seen reason. You are not evil after all. Luna said with a wide smile. Said that both princesses disappeared in a new flash of teleportation, this time reappearing outside Ponyville's library to peek through the windows, thing that forced Celestia to once again restrain Luna, as for some reason the two were touching horns with their eyes closed. Unluckily they couldn't hear what was being said, otherwise the thing would have been resolved sooner and more easily. Inside the library. Can you feel it? This is basically how I shape chakra through magic to form my clones, Maelstrom muttered while sending chakra to his horn, so to have Twilight sense it. This is a different kind of energy then. And you use your alicorn magic to guide it fascinating, she said as her smaller horn moved a little up and down his. Yes, do you see why I said it was hard to teach then? It took me months during my imprisonment just to relearn how to shape chakra in a new body, he said nodding, movement that unknown to them had their heads momentarily move closer and got Luna to go full apoplectic in anger. It's a pity maybe you can help me create a spell with similar results, then? Twilight asked as the two broke apart. You can do that? He asked surprised, this one clearly heard by the two princesses. I still don't know, but I am sure that there should be some book about it around. And I never lacked imagination in this sort of things, Twilight answered smirking. Awesome, the stallion said in awe. Outside? Why you are not leaving me go in there? She is harassing him with who knows what kind of dirty ideas. Luna hissed. Twilight is not the kind of pony to do that, trust me as I know my student. And you are not in the right mood to pacifically intervene in anything either so the blocks remain where they are, Celestia answered. Then why you are not in there to stop this travesty from continuing? The Moon Princess asked. Because that would mean leave you unchecked and I am afraid of the possible inclinations of that happening, the other answered. Then what should we do? Luna roared, enforcing both princesses to duck down so to not be spotted. We go back to the castle where you will calm yourself down by blowing up something easily replaceable, and once return to a more princess-like composure, we will wait for Maelstrom's return and calmly and subtly try to understand what happened. And if there is something between the two, we will see if it is something serious or just a fling. No sense going nightmare on Twilight without certain proofs. Celestia answered. Can I at least banish her should I don't like the answer? Luna asked. We can't send on the moon everything and every pony we don't like, the Sun Princess answered while shaking her head. Well, admittedly I was thinking about another planet. You know. That faint blue dot our astronomers said was the farthest planet from Equestria. The moon alicorn answered with a nervous smile. Let's just go home for now, I will pretend that answer never left your mouth if you don't mind. Celestia said bitterly before forcefully teleporting the two away. Back with the two. Why I have this strange chill running up my back? Maelstrom asked. I don't know, but I have a similar one, Twilight answered nodding. Meh. Both said shrugging as they returned to the books. Second chapter done, I decided that I will do a chapter for one or two girls in the pairing, so to at least try to have a proper start to the respective pairing. Little preview for the next one. Next one will be about Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash. Here is a little preview of Pinkie's part, one I hope will be somehow fun for you too. Igneous Rock, Pinkie's father, knew something was bad when a stallion of all people came visiting their home. He was not exactly an overprotective father by any means, but as every father he was still feeling kind of queasy at the idea of any male figure spending too much time alone with his daughter. My dear, he is just helping her with a secret project of Pinkie. I don't think there is anything to worry about, they are friends, that's all. The stallion's wife said for what must have been the 10th time in the last 30 minutes. I am not exactly worried. I am just keeping my ears open and my senses sharp as my rocks, Igneous answered even too much casually as he stalked closer to the kitchen door. Look, I trust you and I trust my daughter, and I will show you that there is nothing to be worried about, the mayor said, huffing as both leaned close to the door to listen. Wow, that's huge. They heard Pinkie said, making her father splutter. You think? Maelstrom answered uncertain. I had always seen way smaller ones, or at least I never saw something like this in person, only on pictures. She answered giggling. Where? Igneous mouthed with an horrified expression. SSSH. Quartz hissed. Do you think it will fit inside? Maelstrom asked, unknowingly making both parents go green in their face. Maybe cramming it in. You can try pushing hard until it enters all the way inside, Pinkie answered. I am going to be sick, Igneous muttered between gauging sounds, while his wife was too shocked to even breath. It would make a mess, Pinkie. Stuff would fly around and splatter everywhere and make things too sticky. The stallion said in disgust from inside. That may be, but it still tastes good. About that, I can't believe how much of that you can actually eat, doesn't that make you sick? He asked. What can I say? I am a glutton. She answered with a new giggle. Oh Celestia. Quartz said while sitting on the floor in shock. You know what? Whatever. Open wide so I can start, and Maelstrom was about to say when Igneous broke down the door in his haste to enter. What are you? Oh. You are making a pie, haha. Just a pie, the girl's father yelled before rapidly dropping everything. One saw Maelstrom and Pinkie covered from head to tail in floor, with various splotches of chocolate here and there and a huge pie near them. Ahoo. I wanted to see if I could make the most biggest chocolate pie ever, and Maelstrom helped me. Pinkie answered with a wide smile. The problem is that we got so caught up that we never considered how to actually have it fit in the oven. At least in the meantime I got some clones to clean up, like that. You won't have a mess for a kitchen, the prince answered nodding. Ah. Okay. I thought you two were. It doesn't matter, but thank you for cleaning up everything, your highness. There was no need. Igneous said with a forced smile while trying to pretend he never bust inside. Try cutting the thing in half and cook it like that, you can put it back together once done. Quartz added from outside with a relieved expression. Okay, Mum. Pinkie said, smiling and waving at her parents as they left the room. Nice ponies, Maelstrom muttered, shivering when Pinkie gave a long lick to his cheek. It needs more good though. The pink pony said seriously. Please don't do that, the stallion said, blushing. Yes please, don't. Quartz muttered, gagging, while Igneous kept hammering his head on a big rock to erase the images he had conjured in his head by himself during his spying. The Prince of Storms Chapter 4. Lightning fast falling. Panterlit Castle dining room. Celestia sighed once again as she brought the mug of her morning tea up to take a sip, looking at the empty spot in front of her in sadness while eating alone, as Luna was already in her bed to rest from her night job as Moon Princess and Guardian of Dreams. Auntie? A faraway echo of past memories rang in the back of her head as the spectral image of a young filly momentarily appeared sitting in front of her. Yes Mealy, the Sun Alicorn heard herself answer. Don't call me like that. It's embarrassing. The very young Maelstrom answered, pouting, making past Celestia laugh a little. What did you want to ask? She remembered herself say with a gentle smile. When I'll get older, will you teach me how to rise the sun like you do? Celestia saw the young pony ask shyly. Only if you are a good boy, the echo of the princess's past answered. As the memories faded away, the alicorn found herself alone again in the empty room filled only by the slow clocking of an ear clock. What happened? What drove us apart? He just eats in silence and then leaves to either train with the guards or either study and spend time with Luna. Can't he spend some time with me like he used to? He is ignoring my existence altogether. She asked to the empty seat, sighing. She hoped that once back the blonde stallion would have returned to be part of her life. Instead he still treated her coldly, detached, showing his old warmth only to Luna and his friends. Even the guards were treated more friendly than Celestia, and that was tearing her apart. He won't be able to hold a grudge forever, he will forgive me sooner or later. I just have to be patient, she muttered before hurrying to finish her breakfast, so to start her duties as princess of the day. You know he will understand eventually, give him time. We are talking a lot and he has told me of his life as inhuman and his dreams and hopes. He will warm up to you as well. Luna answered as she walked into the room. Why are you awake? You should rest, Celestia said. Nature was calling, Selly. Princess or not, I too need relief from time to time, the other answered, smirking. Then I won't keep you, the sun alicorn answered, smiling. I am trying to talk him into forgiving you, but it's not easy. Try to talk to him again. The moon princess answered before returning to her room. Meanwhile, Konoha compound. Sasuke knew things were about to go so south to go full circle the moment a winged horse with a spiky blonde mane crashed through his door with a terrorized expression. Why are you here? And why without an hinge? You know people may panic at seeing a flying horse. It was a miracle people didn't notice Luna-san and Celestia-san last time they came here to take you, Sasuke had said, annoyed before freezing at seeing the horrified light in Naruto's eyes. I need help. I need help. I don't know what to do. The distressed alicorn kept saying while walking in circles, his horn flaring without apparent control, making the whole room shock. The elemental nations may have jumped over some inventions technologically speaking during its populace's evolution, but the Uchiha heir was still having the same feeling a normal human would have at knowing that a few feet in front of him, there was a nuclear bomb ready to go boom. At the slightest provocation. The Dobe normally was a powerhouse in a human body, now he is a magical horse that can do magic with his horn. That means adding even more power to what he already had, and he is now panicking enough to lose control in the middle of Konoha. This is not good. The young man thought in dismay. What kind of problem? He asked, trying to sound calm and not panicking himself. The big one. An huge fucking problem I have no idea how to resolve. Naruto or Maelstrom or whatever, Sasuke thought, answered, shrieking. See, can I ask to the others to join us? Sasuke asked back. Why? I don't want to die alone. If you blow up, I think more heads will find a solution more easily, the Uchiha said with his most convincing tone. Oh. Okay, try to see if the girls too can join. A female point of view would be good, very good, the stallion answered as the floor gave in under his body out of magical pressure, forming a crater. Do not demolish my house, I'll be back soon. Sasuke answered. As soon as he had calmly closed the door behind himself, he sprinted forward, running faster than he ever had in his whole life, even faster than when he had fought Kagaya and Naruto himself. His old teammate was a step close at vaporizing the village because unable to think straight, so he felt justified to simply grab his targets without stopping his run or explain. Making Sakura, Ino, Tenten, Choji, Shikamaru, Kiba and Akamaru, Shino and even Rock Lee disappear in what seemed, from an outsider's point of view, a barely seen blur before returning home with a long chain of human ragdolls flaying behind him. You. Me. Dope. Help. Now. Sasuke said, launching those people inside the room before slamming close the door and sealing it into full privacy mode. Why the room is spinning? Kiba asked with spinning eyes from his face down position on the floor. Duration. An equally confused Sakura asked, dumbfounded. No, fear that the idiot will blow up my house, no jutsu. Now stop asking and start helping. Sasuke answered. Let's calm down. What's happening, Naruto? Shikamaru asked with a groan. I didn't expect all of you to be here, even just Sakura and Ino would have been enough. The stallion answered. I was in a hurry and forgot to ask what the problem was, so I took everything I could put my hands on to cover every possible angle, Sasuke answered, huffing. Spit it out, why are you here? Ino asked, frowning. I need help in a matter of, well, heart. Maelstrom whispered while looking down. Heart? You are in love with someone? Sakura asked as she and Ino eagerly sat at both sides of the alicorn. Still Hinata? Choji asked. The muttered answer was too low even for Kiba to hear. Can you speak louder? I think Akamaru too failed in hearing you, Kiba said, annoyed. Rainbow Dash Maelstrom replied. Isn't she that girl you said helped managing the weather in the small town where she lives? Ino asked in surprise. Yes. He answered nodding. You're in love with an horse. Kiba yelled in shock. Kiba, he is an horse himself. Shino answered calmly. Oh. Yeah, keep forgetting that the henge is the human body and the horse is the real one, it's kind of hard to get used to. The Inyazuka boy said nodding. How did that happen? Tenten asked curious. I am taking flying lessons from her, since it's kind of different using wings than just flying with chakra. Luna-Kasan is fine and all, and I just love to spend time with her when she teaches me or when she tells me stories of my past or about hers and my father's time together, but she tends to be overly cautious when we go through flying exercises, so it's kind of boring. Naruto answered. And knowing you, if it isn't at least a tiny bit dangerous, you get bored easily, Sasuke said sighing. It's just because even in a different body his spirit is that of pure youth. Lee said smirking. In a sense, but with Dash it was better. She is funny, cool and pretty much an adrenaline junkie. She doesn't beat around the bush when dealing with someone or something and always push herself to the max to get better, and those eyes in her wings and in her fur, that is the color of the sky, and the stallion answered. Okay, you got it bad. But what is the problem? Sakura asked smirking. I don't know what to do. I happened to blurt out a compliment or two and she seemed to like them. Apparently for the others she is a pony version of a tomboy, but then what if she doesn't like me enough to be my girlfriend? Or if she says yes, then how should I act? I never was in a relationship. Will I fuck up everything? I bet I will take me out of a fighting situation and I am hopeless. He answered. Calm down, the most important thing here is being rational and please Ino, stop petting him. Shikamaru said before glaring at the blonde Yamanaka girl. Sorry. But he is just so fluffy and adorable. She answered in embarrassment. He kind of is. I heard that Kurenai-san actually squealed when she saw his Pegasus form for the first time, Sakura added. It's all acorn, Naruto said. Isn't that the same thing? You are a winged horse. Apparently not, there is a difference. Can we return to the matter at hand, please? Sasuke asked just as the door was kicked down by a furious Tsunade. You have 5 seconds to tell me why you kidnapped those shinobi before I Naruto. Tsunade roared as she and Kakashi barged inside, but stopping once they saw the stallion in the middle of the room. He was asking us for help since he has fell in love with one of his friends, Shishu. Sakura answered. Fell in love? Okay, I'll handle this. The Sannin woman said while Kakashi simply gestured to someone outside to leave, probably Anbu that had followed them. Said that the masked Hokage leaned on the door while the woman moved to sit on the floor near Maelstrom before grabbing him and setting him on her lap, daring with a glare any of the present to comment her petting and hugging him. Ah-chan. The fuck are you doing? Maelstrom said. Silence. It will calm the two of us. Now who is this bitch that seduced you exactly? Tsunade asked. Ash is not a bitch. For God's sake, Ba-chan. I didn't tell Luna-Kasan for this reason alone. She too would have blown a gasket about it, Naruto said in dismay. She is just worried to see an hussy corrupt you, just like me. Now start from the beginning and tell me how this happened and what did you go in full panic? The Sannin asked. Sigh. Okay, it all happened during our last flying session. Ponyville skies not so long ago. 2 streams of light could be seen soar above Ponyville at ludicrous speed, with the golden yellow one closely following the rainbow-colored one with barely a split-second difference, copying each maneuver the first went through, no matter if simple as a loop-de-loop or more complicated like a corkscrew spiral upward or downward. Both streams then separated and started flying side by side, spinning and turning before falling all the way to street level, dodging every pony they came across an instant before impact and startling the poor victims of their daring flight. The mad race came to a stop when a rather huge cloud appeared in front of them, making the 2 lights rapidly spin around it until it took a shape more similar to that of a pillow, where a blonde alicorn and a rainbow-haired Pegasus then collapsed onto it on their backs, laughing while lying there to rest. Oh boy. That was fast. And funny too. Maelstrom said between fits of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, gotta say that it's rare for me to find another flying enthusiast, I mean many would see me as a blindly boasting fool. Dash answered with a small smile. Or an ass that just can't help but boast loudly as she talks about her dream. I know the feeling, I used to yell to the world how I would have become Hokage and protect everyone, but let's say that my academic results at the time were not encouraging, but I never quit nor admitted defeat and I don't think you should either. Maelstrom answered encouragingly. And then tell me, Mr. Prince, why don't you find me a pain like many others usually do? Even Rarity and Twilight sometimes admit to find annoying my talking about the Wonderbolts, she asked back while inching a little closer to him. As I said, I was, and pretty much I still am, just as loud and boasting as you are now, so I actually admire how hard you work to get always better. Sure, you still have that slightly inflated ego problem, but who am I to judge? The stallion answered, smirking. Ego problem? Oh, do shut up, Mr. Super Ninja. You're the very last one that should talk about ego. Dash said, giving him a playful bump on the shoulder with her hoof. Hoi. You can get away with that, at least contrary to us others. You have good looks on your side too, so their arguments would be invalid in front of pure awesomeness. Maelstrom answered. I'm on enough compliments, it's not like I am all girly like Rarity or a shy cutie like Fluttershy, she muttered with an humorless voice as she looked away. I really think that you are a pretty girl, the ones treating you like a feminine stallion are just idiots. He answered seriously. Fa. Dash huffed in disinterest. People didn't used to treat me like a person back in Konoha, you know. It was always like they expected me to sprout fangs and attack them, this in the worst case, otherwise they just like to think that failure was the only outcome of everything I wanted to do. Even when I became a genin, the lowest level of ninja barely out of our academy, in their eyes, I could always see a total lack of trust or acknowledgement. You are a wonderful flyer, an incredible friend and a mare that everyone with even just a spark of common sense would kill to talk to, let alone date, he said as this time he was the one to move closer to her. Really? Dash muttered while turning to once again look at him. Really? He answered. And what about you? You really find me that cute? She asked. The following silence lasted only the smallest of instants, and yet it seemed to prolong to years as she looked in his cerulean eyes and he back in hers, unblinking as both committed to memory every detail of the other's face, before he lunged forward covering her lips with his. Warm, smooth flesh covered her mouth for a second before those foreign lips got pulled away, eyes once again open and looking at each other. Wawa, very embarrassed, Dash spluttered as Maelstrom slowly moved closer for another kiss. Please. He whispered almost too low to be heard. She didn't know why she caved in, but she moved forward herself in a new kiss when she felt his mouth open, though she grew slightly surprised until something else, his tongue as a small part of her brain not focused on kissing said, tentatively and tenderly caressed her own lips. Curious about what he wanted to do, she slowly left the, admittedly tasty, intruder slowly part her lips and meet her own tongue. Heat exploded in her mind, blowing away every thought as the stallion she was kissing moved through a shy exploring of her mouth, and she did the same, tasting every inch of him as his hooves circled her neck, deepening the experience. The same heat then moved to spread all over her body as instinct took over, making her more daring, more hungry, as she forcefully pushed back his tongue to gain even more from the kiss, and as soon as he responded with his own force, she found herself drowning, forgetting everything and everyone, and he doing the same, until only them existed at all. Ignoring even the need to breath just to not interrupt the moment of bliss. When they eventually managed to stop, both Alicorn and Pegasus stood lying down, hugging each other with her forehead pressed on his, while both panted from the lack of oxygen. I know it's pant late to ask B, but would you be my girlfriend? Maelstrom muttered. I think that I can do that, B, but what was that? A flustered Dash answered meekly. Well, it started like a kiss, then it went down into a bit of French kissing then I don't know, I kind of went into autopilot at a certain point. You didn't like that? He asked back. In answer, the rainbow-maned Pegasus just pounced on him to repeat the kiss until once again the need to breath pretended attention. I don't know what this French whatever is, but Celestia, if you know how to kiss, Dash said while giving little kisses to the stallion. It was my first time actually, he admitted, blushing. Lucky me then, I got a boyfriend that is a natural in this sort of things. She answered, smirking, making the other laugh happily and hug her tightly. Their cuddling though went interrupted by a new voice calling for Dash to show up. Dash. There is a certain Gilda looking for you. Do something before one of the guys punch that griffin into next week. She managed to anger even placid Cloud. The male Pegasus yelled with an annoyed voice. Sigh. Gotta go, meet you at Sugarcube Corner. Dash said, sighing. I'll be there, Dashi-chan. Maelstrom answered, smirking. Ought to remember that the chan suffix you use is a sort of compliment, the mare muttered before joining her friend to talk with this Gilda. As soon as the girl disappeared from view, though the placid smile Maelstrom was sporting dropped to leave room to the horrified expression that the stallion was barely holding back to not scare Dash. I have a girlfriend, Fuuk. He said before disappearing in a burst of speed that blew away half the clouds covering Ponyville. He needed help in understanding what to do, and he planned to reach Konoha and ask someone. Too bad his panic-induced hysteria had him crash in Sasuke's place instead of Tsunade's. Present time at Chiha clan compound Konoha. You French kissed and horse, Kiba muttered. Boy. Once I wrapped my head around this horse thing, I started noticing the differences between the mares there, and is not bestiality since I am by default an horse myself, Naruto answered. The fact that she doesn't know what that kiss was, it's surprising, Tsunade said. Their world as well, Equestria is pretty much kid-friendly if I have to say, they don't curse, like to sing and such. Even when they fight, the worst they do to each other is knocking down or transform the other into something harmless. The worst kind of wounds are black eyes, bruises and the like that risk more during incidents than in proper fights. They are pure in a sense, Naruto answered. Makes me wonder what would happen should you eat her out, Kiba muttered. Shino? Kakashi asked. Ouch. The Inuzuka boy yelped as Shino slapped the back of his neck. Thank you, Shino. Kakashi said, smiling. No problems, Hokage-sama. Listen, the thing is easy, be yourself. She accepted your proposal because it was something not planned, you were acting like yourself just like you were doing before that happened. It means that she likes you, just the way you are, it's a good start, Ino said with a little smile. Luckily Hinata is not here, she would go ballistic over this, Sasuke said sighing. Okay. Just for this time we are going to give you a little advice on hard matters, see to remember everything, but also know that we are giving you just simple suggestions, as Ino said she likes you, meaning the person or pony you usually are. Sakura said reassuringly. Okay, I think I can do this, the stallion said nodding. Half an hour later, Ponyville. Maelstrom was once again back in Equestria with a more calm attitude towards the whole girlfriend business when a strange sense of uneasiness took him over as soon as he stepped inside Ponyville territory. Hurrying into a small trot he started looking for Dash, as for some reason, he had the impression that something had happened. When he reached Twilight's place he could hear a muffled out sobbing coming from inside, thing that had him pretty much open the door with enough force to tear it off its hinges. What's happening? Dash. He yelled before running at the crying mare's side in an instant. Ma Maelstrom. Wah. Dash said before erupting in a new fit of desperate wailing as she threw her arms around his neck. What happened? He asked again while hugging her back. An old friend of her, Gilda. The two had a discussion and pretty much had their friendship sigh. Crumble to dust, Twilight answered with a sad tone. And where is this mare? Maelstrom asked. A griffin, she is a griffin and probably already returning home. Dash muttered between hiccups. She had not been exactly nice with us and Dash defended us instead of siding with her. Rarity said. So she acted like a bit, the stallion tried saying. Yes, but please contain yourself. This is no time to lose control, we need to console her. Twilight answered. Console her, yes, Maelstrom muttered mechanically while nodding. Kit, I know you and I am of the same advice, there is an ass that needs a good kicking, she needs the Gilda if she is this devastated at losing her, and I can feel your anger at watching her cry, so I'll make you an offer I haven't done ever since you were a genin, Kurama said with narrowed eyes and a growling voice. I don't like to see her crying, to see her suffer. I am listening, Maelstrom answered after a short pause. Don't tell them we are together, I'll explain later, Dash muttered in his ear. Want me to talk with Gilda? I can help her resonate and see that you two can still be friends, the stallion offered. It's useless, she hates the fact that I have friends here and is too stubborn to listen to others, Dash answered. Don't you trust me? Maelstrom asked with an hurt expression. You would really do that? Pinky asked. I consider you all friends and I hate to see my friends suffer like this, he answered. Thank you, it won't work, but I appreciate the gesture. Dash said grateful. There is no problem, Maelstrom answered with a kind smile before going out of the library. As soon as he was outside the smile dropped and a snarl took its place, scaring the ones passing by as the stallion's muscles seemed to harden while a strange bubbling aura of energy covered his body, making the whiskers-like markings on his face get thicker, his eyes turn red with slit pupils and his mouth gaining enough fangs to shame a pack of timberwolves. Gilda, I swear that I will either talk you into seeing reason or eat you for dinner, Maelstrom growled before opening his wings wide, now somehow even bigger than before. Oh, I think I overdid, Kurama thought in alarm as the alicorn took off with enough speed to leave behind even his own sonic boom. The Biju just hoped that by the time they found that griffin he would manage to reabsorb some of the malicious intent. Maelstrom was now oozing out in waves. But Gilda not too far away. Stupid Dash, stupid unicorns and stupid earth ponies wasting her time with those losers, sniff. What was wrong in being just the two of us, I wonder? We were the coolest ones, the others were just an hindrance, the female griffin muttered while oscillating between anger and sadness. Whatever. I don't need her, I don't need anybody. I am better alone than surrounded by losers. She then said while biting down a new uncool sob. It was in that moment that pure rage surged from behind her as a bullet of reddish gold energy flew past her before taking the shape of an alicorn that then moved to stand on a cloud to glare at her with blood-colored eyes. Gilda? He asked sneering. And you are? She asked back while preparing her talons for battle. Ash Coldfriend, the one that hates with a passion to see her suffer and cry, Maelstrom answered. Hey. You seem different from those weaklings Dash had the stupid idea to be friends with, it means that she is still redeemable, Gilda said smirking. Calm down, she wouldn't want to see you like this, nor for her best friend to become your dinner, Kurama said from the seal. Taking in a huge breath, the stallion slowly calmed himself down until the bubbling aura disappeared inside his body to look at the griffin with once again blue eyes. "Came down?" Gilda asked. "Yes, I was about to tear off your wings. I should pay attention when using the Biju cloak, it tends to make instincts go high wire," he answered. "You are not joking about hurting me. You are a warrior, but not a normal one, different from those guards I saw, why?" Gilda asked as she too relaxed a little, still showing her willingness to fight though. "Got a trying upbringing. Why have you argued with Dash?" "Just because she made new friends?" Maelstrom asked. "She made uncool friends, pathetic ones like that spineless Fluttershy or the bookworm. Those had to take her away," she answered bitterly. To her surprise, the last anger she could see in his eyes just evaporated as he sat on that cloud to look at her in sadness. "You're lonely, do you? How many friends do you have other than Dash?" "Lonely? Don't make me laugh. I am swarmed by people wishing to have a little of my attention," Gilda answered as she too joined him on the cloud with a theatrical flare of her wings. "Hey, there is no need to lie," he answered with a kind smile. "I am not telling lies," she answered indignant. You are doing the same thing I used to do back there in Konoha, boasting and loudly proclaiming my awesomeness, filling my mouth with empty words and smiles to hide the pain you are feeling alone, just like I used to," the stallion continued. "Don't talk as if you know me," Gilda hissed with narrowed eyes. "No, I don't know you, but I know you care about Dash enough to be happy for her finding new friends. I bet you were secretly elated to see that she had found someone else other than you, and for some reason you are afraid that she may leave you behind because of that," Maelstrom answered, still with a sad smile on his face. Once understood what her problem was, he could no longer be angry at her. "She will waste her time with those ponies. They are not good enough for her. Not as good as I have always been," Gilda yelled back. "You don't believe in that yourself, you are just scared to be left alone, and guess what, Dash still wants you in her life. She still wants her dear friend Gilda to talk to have the griffin girl she had knew since forever to be her friend, just like with Twilight and the others," he said, unrelenting as he walked closer to her. It doesn't matter, I have already made my choice, whatever friendship I had with Dash is over," the griffin said, shaking her head. "But it does matter. And it will always matter to you. And deep inside you know this is true," Maelstrom said. "Stop," she muttered with cracking voice. "You still care about Dash. About your friendship, don't you? You will never stop worrying about her well-being, nor stop treasuring any memory you two share." "I said stop. That is why you acted like that. You may be happy for her, but deep inside you were also jealous because you feared that she would no longer have enough time to spend with you. You were convinced that Dash had somehow forgot completely about you, and so you lashed out, insulting every one of her friends in the hope she would choose you over them in order to save your friendship. Please. Just stop talking. Feel that, since loving Dash was now making you suffer, you preferred arguing with her, like that if there wasn't any friendship between you two, then the pain would just fade away. That's what you thought, right? Cutting off that bridge in the hopes to no longer suffer like that." "Shut up." Gilda screamed in anger as her claw moved on its own, piercing the stallion's side, making her scream in horror. "No. I am sorry. The griffin said with wide eyes at watching the red stream flowing down the deep wound. "You know that it won't work, right? You can't just throw away a life worth of friendship just like that. You griffin may be prideful creatures, valuing strength above all else, but you too recognize the value of what you and Dash used and still share," Maelstrom said as the bubbling aura briefly returned to cover his wound, then closing it in a subtle sizzling until nothing remained, not even the faintest of scars. Stop," she said, taking few steps back. "If you don't, I'll attack again." "I don't think so, because you know that I am right. Let's go back. If you want, you can stay friends with Dash. She still wants you, she needs you just as much as you need her. Her friends too are ready to offer their friendship, not to take your place, but to have you join the group," Maelstrom answered, smiling. "And you?" Gilda asked while relaxing even more. "Me too if you want. I don't want Dash to think she has to choose between me, you and the others. I just want her to be happy," he answered, nodding. "Fight," the griffin muttered. "What? Fight with me? If you win, I'll give a try to this, but if I win you will let me go and never bother me again," Gilda said. "You need to play the baddest woman until the end. So be it, just don't expect me to play nice just because you are Dash friend. I won't play nice either. You want to impress me enough to have me listen to what you say. Then show me how good you are in actions too other than words. Ready?" Maelstrom asked, smirking. "Bring it on. I'll show you." Wham. Gilda had the time to say that as soon the fight started, the right hoof of the stallion impacted with her face in a very human-style punch. Half an hour later, Ponyville. "You sure you will be okay, Dash?" Twilight asked. Sniff. "I'll be." Maelstrom must have failed talking to her. "I am not surprised, she had always had an head as hard as stone," the Pegasus answered sadly. "Yeah, but the guy here hits hard enough to crack rocks." Gilda muttered as both she and the stallion landed near the group. She had various bruises and a swelling eye, while he was sporting a huge smile and several clawing marks on his side. She insisted to have us resolve it in the Griffin way, namely fighting until the other admit defeat. Maelstrom said, grinning. It doesn't work like that, I think. Twilight said, uncertain. She said it did instead, the stallion said, shrugging. I am not good at this sort of things. Let's say that I am not happy about how I acted before, okay? Gilda said in forced annoyance. It means that she is sorry. Pinkie Pie said, smiling. We know that, Pinkie. Rarity answered, sighing. Sigh, okay, I am sorry, I just couldn't accept that you could leave me behind. How are we supposed to keep in touch now? The Griffin said, sighing. Stay here in Ponyville, Maelstrom offered. What? The other mares plus Griffin yelled. Celestia always wonders how to show that between ponies and griffins there can be peace. Having one openly joining Ponyville and even help with the weather would show that the two races can coexist, specifically granted that the griffin will stop being an ass. The stallion said. Okay, I think I can accept talking with some ponies. I'll need to lower my standards, but I'll survive. Gilda said, yelping when Maelstrom stomped on her claw with a scowl. What did I say about that? He asked. Keep the boasting to a minimum, give me some time though, I am trying. Gilda answered. Where should she live then? Applejack asked. Considering that any pony else other than Dash would just go mad at her attitude until it gets fixed, I say that both should share an apartment or better. The one I bought here when I decided that I needed a place to crash in when coming here, as long as they leave me sleep on the couch I am fine. Maelstrom answered. I can't accept, Gilda answered, barely moving fast enough to grab a key. There? 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, big living room, a nice balcony to use to watch the clouds and a spacious kitchen, just pay attention to the parquet. The stallion answered, smirking. Thanks, Dash said, hugging him. No problem, now you and Gilda have a chance to be friends once again and help that stubborn parrot to be a more likable girl. He said, winking. Sorry if I want to keep our relationship secret, but for now I don't want to get too much attention on us, Dash said, whispering. It's because I am a prince. I don't care about that. He whispered back. It's not that, just have patience for now, I just don't want people giving you troubles because you have a non-noble mare friend. She asked. Okay, but only because you asked. Because I don't like this. The stallion answered. Can you show us where is the place? We have lots to talk about. Dash asked. Follow the clone, he will take you there, Maelstrom answered as a shadow clone signaled them to follow. Once far away, the stallion turned towards the main 6 and sighed. Can I ask you to give her a chance? We already decided to, dear. Don't worry. Rarity said, smiling. Thank you. Okie dokie, we resolved this finally. I'll need to prepare a cake for Gilda's welcome party then. Pinkie said happily. Hey. Cake sounds good, do you mind if I help? Maelstrom answered, smirking. You know how to cook? Cool. The pink pony said with a wide smile. Used to live by myself before coming here, I am no chef, but I don't lack imagination. He said. We will leave you 2 chefs alone then, I still got a boutique to take care of. Rarity said, laughing as she left for her shop. I need to go too, sorry, but I still need to check on my animals. Fluttershy muttered, blushing before leaving. I'll go too, I still need to see where Spike has gone since some pony suggested him to have some fun without warning me, Twilight said while glaring at Maelstrom. Hoy. That guy needs to have fun too. He is not your slave. He answered. I know, I am just worried about him, the unicorn muttered as she walked away. Sorry, Maelstrom said. No, it's okay. Maybe I am making him overwork after all, she answered. Come on. Our super pie won't prepare itself. Pinkie said before dragging the stallion behind her. Okay. I am coming. He answered, laughing. Sometime later, Rock Farm. Igneous Rock, Pinkie's father, knew something was bad when a stallion of all people came visiting their home. He was not exactly an overprotective father by any means, but just like every other father, he was still feeling kind of queasy at the idea of any male figure not family-tied spending too much time alone with his daughter. My dear, he is just helping with a secret project of Pinkie, I don't think there is anything to worry about, they are just friends, that's all. The stallion's wife said for what must have been the 10th time in the last 30 minutes. I am not exactly worried, mind you, I am just keeping my ears open and my senses sharp as my rocks, Igneous answered even too much casually as he stalked closer to the kitchen door, trying to appear nonchalant as some pony just passing by. Look, I trust you and I trust my daughter, and I will show you that there is nothing to be worried about, now listen. The mare said, huffing as both moved closer to the door to listen. Wow, that's huge, they heard Pinkie say in wonder, making her father splutter. You think? Maelstrom answered, uncertain. I had always seen way smaller ones, or at least I never saw something like this in person, only on pictures. She answered, giggling. In pictures? Where? Igneous mouthed with an horrified expression. SSSH. Quartz hissed. Do you think it will fit inside? Maelstrom asked, unknowingly making both parents go green in their face. Maybe cramming it in. You can try pushing hard until it enters all the way, Pinky answered. I am going to be sick, Igneous muttered between gauging sounds, while his wife was too shocked to even breath. It would make a mess, Pinky. Stuff would splatter everywhere and make things too sticky. The stallion said in disgust from inside. That may be, but it still tastes good. I can't believe how much of that you can actually gobble down, doesn't all that stuff make you sick? He asked. What can I say? I am a glutton. She answered with a new giggle. Oh Celestia. Quartz said while sitting on the floor in shock. You know what? Whatever. Open wide so we can start, and Maelstrom was about to say when Igneous broke down the door in his haste to enter. What are ya oh? You are making a pie haha. Just a pie, the girl's father yelled before rapidly dropping everything. One saw Maelstrom and Pinky covered from head to tail in floor, with various splotches of chocolate here and there and a huge pie near them. Ahoo. I wanted to see if I could make the most biggest chocolate pie ever, and Maelstrom helped me. Pinky answered with a wide smile. The problem is that we got so caught up in preparing it that we never considered how to actually have it fit in the oven. At least in the meantime, I got some clones to clean up, like that. You won't have a mess for a kitchen, the prince answered, nodding. Ah. Okay. I thought it doesn't matter, but thank you for cleaning up everything, your highness. There was no need, Igneous said with a forced smile, while trying to pretend he had never burst inside. Try cutting the thing in half and cook it like that, you can put it back together once done. Quartz added from outside with a relieved expression. Okay, Mum. Pinky said, smiling and waving at her parents as they left the room. Nice ponies, Maelstrom muttered, shivering when Pinky licked his cheek. It needs more sugar, still good though. The pink pony said seriously. Please don't do that, the stallion said, blushing. Yes please, don't. Quartz muttered, gagging, while Igneous kept hammering his head on a big rock to erase the images he had conjured in his head by himself during his spying. Pinky? Maelstrom said. Yes. She answered, surprised to watch him lick her cheek. Yep. You taste better than chocolate, I was right. The stallion said, smirking before walking outside to use the garden hose to clean himself. Are you sure this won't backfire? Kurama asked. Like what? I was joking, she licked me and I licked her back. Maelstrom asked. Ah. Whatever your left wing, you still have some orange crust on that. The Biju answered. Behind them, unseen, Pinkie Pie had just momentarily turned into tomato pie as her whole body had took a deep red color. Out of embarrassment, shaking her head strongly, she joined the stallion for a throat cleaning. That the young stallion offered himself as an helper in the shop. The element of laughter worked in as a way to spend some time while waiting for Dash to resolve her issues with Gilda. I was wondering, he said during a moment of quiet after the last client left. Yes? Pinky asked back. Your mane, is it made of cotton candy? I swear it looks exactly like that. Maelstrom asked while pointing at her mane and then at the small cloud of pink sugar resting in a corner of the counter. No silly. Otherwise people would always try to eat it, she answered, giggling. You sure? He asked with narrowed eyes. Ahoo. This is all mane, but I do love making look like cotton candy, it's all fluffy and sweet. I don't believe you, come on. Let me taste it. The stallion said, smirking while trying to catch her. Never. My cotton, I mean mane, is mine alone. Pinky said dramatically. I knew it. It is made of sugar. Come on, just a morsel. He asked while still chasing the giggling mare. No. It's all mine. She answered, smiling while dodging him. Both kept jazzing each other in the small shop until a very amused Miss Cake came out from the back. Sorry if I interrupt your oh so important game, but I need a cool, strong stallion to take out of storage some sacks of sugar since my beloved husband this time has managed to found a believable excuse to not do that himself. The mayor asked, smirking. I am coming, Cake-san. Where should I put them? And how many? Maelstrom asked. 2 sacks would be wonderful if you don't mind, just take those out and put them on the table, she answered. I'll do that, he answered, nodding before leaving the two alone. So? Miss Cake asked. So? Pinky replied. When the wedding? I'll make you a nice price on the cake. The elder mayor said, smirking deviously. Yep. It's not like that. We are just friends. Pinky answered immediately. Me and my husband too have been just friends years ago. You two look so cute together and seem to both enjoy playing and have fun, and he is also a prince that for some reason Celestia only knows, no pun intended, is not a stuck-up fool, so why not? Miss Cake asked. I don't need a cold friend. We are just friend and I am happy like that. Pinky answered smiling. You sure? Sure. Really, really? The mayor pressed with a knowing smile. Okay, I like to play with him, so what? Pinky admitted. Only playing? Yes. That's not very convincing, and you yourself know that, Miss Cake said laughing at the girl's flustered face. Hoy. Something wrong? Meseltram asked once rejoined the two on the front of the store. Just a little friendly teasing about Pinky's love life, she fears that her target won't take her seriously, Miss Cake answered. I never said that. Pinky replied shocked. But you were thinking it, the other said. That is not true. Pinky answered pouting. Ow. Don't listen to her, she is doing this on purpose to get a reaction from you, Maelstrom said as he moved one of his wings to cover her in a friendly hug. People used to do the same to me and never listened to what I said. Sure, maybe my perennial smiling and pranking wasn't helping, but hey. At least I was trying making others happy. Just like you. He then said smiling. Me? And who else? Never had so much fun at a party like when taking part to one of yours. You are simply amazing and bringing out smiles. One of the kindest and most caring girls I have ever met, especially with cotton candy mane sweetening the deal. The stallion answered. Again with the cotton candy, enough with that, you meanie. Pinky answered with her biggest smile. Enough pleasantries, I need help putting the new orders in the oven, mind helping me, Pinky? My husband should finally be back any moment, so we will be able to release our poor hostage. Miss Cake said, sounding strangely proud to Maelstrom's ears. I was happy to help you, Cake-san. Please ask me again if you ever need help. The stallion said with a little bow of his head. May as well, saying that a prince baked or biscuits kind of help selling them, ha ha ha. The mayor said making the stallion chuckle in answer. If you say so. See you around, Pinky? He asked. Okay. Until next time. The pink mare answered waving at his retreating form. See? He enjoys your parties and you specifically you'll thank me the next time, Miss Cake said proudly. I won't answer to that provocation, Pinky muttered while moving on the back of the shop, trying to suppress certain ideas about turning one of her friends into something more. I have a strange feeling of dread. I just hope that it is not something I am the cause for. The brat can mess around all he wants, but I would prefer remain clean, thank you very much. Kurama thought while in the seal before curling into a tighter ball to try ignore the uneasiness tickling at the back of his head. Experimenting new things. It was a new day in Ponyville, the sky was clear, birds were chirping happily, and the warm rays of the sun seemed to do their worst to make the various ponies struggle with the idea of just lying down on the grass to do nothing. MMMMMMH. And it was also a new day of flying lessons between Maelstrom Night and Rainbow Dash. MMMMMMH. Lesson that as usual finished with the two resting on a lonely cloud to catch their breath before moving to a more interesting, from their point of view, round of face sucking, also known as kissing. I don't think I will ever stop enjoying this, Dash muttered as she snuggled closer to the stallion with a content smile. Me neither, but why keeping everything a secret? He answered. I want to be selfish and keep my cult friend all to myself, she answered smirking. You're a bad girl, you know. The stallion said chuckling. So what? I may be the element of loyalty, but this doesn't mean I have to always share the goods. If you say so. Hey I was wondering, Maelstrom said uncertain. Yes. There is something I wish to try. Can we? Try something. And what is it? Dash asked. Apparently something cooler even than that kind of kissing, he said blushing. Do tell. She answered eagerly. You sure? Do it. If it's another awesome thing like that then I am very willing to try. Dash said with a furious nod. Okay, brace yourself, Maelstrom said before flipping the girl on her back. What are you doing? She asked confused. In my old world they would jokingly call this tasting the rainbow should make you feel good. The stallion answered while trailing small kisses down her neck, on her chest and stomach, and then continue always lower. Making the Pegasus grow red-faced once understood where he was going. Wait. Under there is my I don't under, she said in alarm until he started, making her eyes go wider and wider until. Elemental Country's Konoha Hokage Tower. It was a new day in Konoha, the sky was clear, birds were chirping happily, and the warm rays of the sun seemed to do their worst to make the various shinobi struggle with the idea of just lying down on the grass to do nothing. Especially their dear Hokage Kakashi Haddock, naturally born lazy ass. That quiet moment of peace though went drastically interrupted when a faraway sound shocked the whole village, breaking every form of glass present in there. Same thing also happening in every other village. Oh my gosh. What the fuck was that? Kakashi yelled with wide eyes while looking out the window in confusion. Back in Equestria. Maelstrom was silently looking with horrified eyes the result of his work while unconsciously still licking his lips. Oh, God. I think I killed her, he muttered with wide eyes. Ugh blah 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 dash moaned with vacant eyes while drooling, mumbling incoherently and trembling in microshocks of pleasure. Luckily the former shinobi still had Kurama and the seal, ready to disperse his wisdom coming from his being a biju, created by the sage of the six paths himself Hagoromo Utsuki. Try poking her with a stick. The biju said uncertain. 1 hour later Sugar Cube Corner after a short visit to a doctor paid to keep everything secret. Hoi dash. How went with your flying lessons? Applejack asked curious at seeing the Pegasus stumble inside with a dumb smile literally frozen on her face. Good. It went good. A lot of nice things went very, very good. Dash answered with a very excited tone. You okay? You sound kind of like an overdrive. Twilight asked curious. Boo. Me? I am fine, a bit overwhelmed, but I am fine. Just tried something new, she answered immediately. Cool down, girl. You look like a filly in a sugar rush. Gilda said smirking. Oh okay, Dash said taking a deep breath and literally deflating to take a seat. You're all wobbly now. Hehe. You look like jelly. Pinky said giggling. Just a little weak on the legs, the rainbow-maned Pegasus said sighing longingly. This is strange, did Maelstrom do something strange? Twilight asked with narrowed eyes. Maelstrom? Mine. I mean, no, we have just tried some new tricks, some new awesome tricks of the kind that blows the mind and makes you wonder what heaven tastes like. Dash answered while walking away in a zombie-like fashion. Wow, that was unexpected, Twilight said surprised. She probably just needs some rest, nothing to worry about. Rarity answered with a calm smile. I'll go ask instead, that sounded like something interesting. Gilda said smirking before hurrying out. TCH. Griffins, never knowing when minding their own businesses. Rarity said sighing dramatically. Hawk's the biggest gossiper. Oh Ponyville, Applejack muttered. What was that, dear? Nothing. It wouldn't be the last or only time Dash would appear in Ponyville with a similar expression, but even stranger would be see both Maelstrom and Dash walk around the small town with a look of total bliss etched on the faces. When asked, neither would give more details than an off-hoof comment about their newfound appreciation for numbers. Especially the 69 for some reason, all for other ponies' confusion. Act 2 Hinata vs the Mare Harem takes place after the Narumare 6, Trixie in place of Rarity, pairing is confirmed. Elemental countries Konoha. Wait, let me see if I got this, you want to challenge us? Twilight Sparkle said with narrowed eyes, nor her the other element bearers hiding their being ponies just like Maelstrom. Yes, Hinata growled in answer. Why? Applejack asked dumbfounded. He should have been mine. Everyone knows how the manga ends. Why you six had to change things? The Hyuga woman said enraged. Not everyone was happy about it, so I guess those are okay about us staying with him, Dash answered with a smug grin while nuzzling the embarrassed stallion. Screw the Naruhina haters. I challenge you six. For the right to stay with him, Hinata said crossing her arms. He is an alicorn and you inhuman, I don't think it will work between you two. Rarity said with a raised eyebrow. You can't change me into a pony. You did it with him. The human woman asked bitterly. Princess Celestia could do that because he was a pony at the beginning, we just returned him to his true body. We can't do that with you, who do you think we are? A conversion bureau? Twilight asked annoyed. I don't care. I still want to challenge you, even just to know who's best between us. Hinata answered. You know what? Hey, if I am going to listen to another whining, you have a challenge. Applejack said with narrowed eyes. Good. And what do you want us to face off? The Hyuga woman asked. Eating contest, he likes the Trayman stuff, right? I bet I can eat more than ya, but vegetarian if you don't mind. The Earth Pony answered. Ah. I am the only one that can out-eat Naruto-kun, you have already lost. Hinata said proudly. We'll see, Sugar Cube, we'll see. AJ said smirking. 3 minutes later. C75 Kakashi said in awe once the contest was over. Yep. That was darn good, now I see why you love this stuff. Taste awesome, Applejack said while daintily cleaning her mouth with an handkerchief before joining the cheering group of mares to kiss Maelstrom's cheek. Europe. I am not defeated yet. Hinata moaned from her place at the counter, her 60 bowls looking almost ashamed themselves at the defeat. Who's next? Twilight asked. Fluttershy. I think she is 100 times more cute than her when doing her shy thing, Dash said smirking. As if. People adores me when I poke my fingers and mutter Naruto-kun, I get an increase in popularity just from that in every episode. Hinata said. Please don't pull me into this, I don't like being in the center of attention, Fluttershy muttered as she tried to hide her heavily blushing face behind her own mane. The effect was instantaneous as even the most battle-hardened sadistic mean bastard shinobi of Konoha squealed in answer at the impossibly cute image. Fuck. Even Sasuke had left out a stricken "Aw. That's cute." After a mere 3 seconds of exposure. Nope. I guess this counts as a victory for the shy one and us by reflex. Trixie said, smirking while adding another point to the pony team counter. Hinata groaned in disbelief as he fell on all four with an aura of despair around her. You can still do this, One-sama. Hanabi said, trying to cheer up her big sister. I am next and if you don't mind. Twilight said. I can do this, what's the challenge? Hinata asked. A simple quiz, beauty is not everything you know. Being smart too can be sexy and he likes when I play teacher, if you catch my drift. The unicorn said, smirking. So be it. Choose what we will have our quiz about. The Hyuga woman said, seething in anger. I'll help you, we'll answer questions about this world and its shinobi villages, Twilight answered as Shikamaru Nara moved between them to act as referee. 10 minutes later. Yoo-hoo. Hinata wailed while getting consoled by Ino and Sakura, the scoreboard above them not helping in the woman's despair. Hinata. -120. Twilight sparkle. 12,527. Didn't know someone could go into negative numbers, Tsunade muttered. Me neither, Kakashi answered. That's it. If I can't have him, no one will. Yandere assault no jutsu. Hinata screamed in rage as she pulled the cord of a devilish chainsaw she took out of thin air. Ruun. Maelstrom yelled as he and the others escaped the madly laughing Hyuga woolly other shinobi tried to stop the snapped clan heiress. But I didn't get to compete. Pinky said with a whine. Just shut up and run. Dash yelled as they managed to enter the portal Celestia created for them just in time to escape. What if Naruto banished to My Little Pony end here and thanks for watching my video till the end.